Howdy y'all, it's my honor to call to order the 30th session of the 55th Senate. For all of those willing and able, you can please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that one, I'll be moving into our land acknowledgement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This is also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into the swearing in of new senators and associates. If you're a new senator or associate, or if you're switching positions, if you could please join us at the front. Welcome back, squad. With that, we'll now be moving into getting roll call.
Speaker of the Senate, Reese.
Present.
Speaker Pro Tempore Ying.
Present.
Parliamentarian Faldo.
Present.
Senator Rodriguez. Present. Senator Farfan. Associate Senator Escobar Romero. Present. Senator Escobar.
Present.
Associate Senator Price. Senator Bashal.
Present.
Senator Bennett.
Present.
Associate Senator Yalong. Associate Senator Choi. Officer Jakes.
Present.
Senator Chalk. Chairman Montes.
Present.
Associate Senator, Senator McLaughlin.
Present.
Senator Rivera. Present. Associate Senator Wilkin. Associate Senator Cure. Senator Johnson. Here. Here. Senator Franks.
Here.
Senator Dusterberg. Senator Cornelius. Senator Taylor.
Present.
Senator Grenier.
Present.
Senator McCorkle.
Present.
Chair Casada Stoner.
Present.
Senator Vega.
Present.
Senator Hazel. Present. Senator Magallanes,
Present.
Senator Leggett, Chair Rivera, Associate Senator Gonzalez, Associate Senator Zaval Kempos, Associate Senator Perez, present. Chair McLaughlin, Senator Batchnan, Senator Corey, Senator Bone, Associate Senator Pratt, Senator Simpson,
Present.
Associate Senator Pendleton,
Present.
Associate Senator Shelfo,
Present.
Senator Green,
Present.
Associate Senator Schaefer, present. Senator Jeffries, here. Senator Mora,
Present.
Associate Senator Grube,
Present.
Chair Hill, present. Chair Gilroy, Senator Singleton,
Presente.
Senator Bachman.
Here.
Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into consent agenda. Officer Diggs.
Motion to move Bill 5565, the budget, to directly after gallery input. This is a request of Budgetary Affairs Committee Chair. And then I have a couple more, sorry, too. Can we also?
Can we do them one at a time, essentially? Is there any dissent to that motion? Cool, yeah, so with that, the budget will be moved to directly after gallery input. Awesome.
And then second motion is to move Resolution 5553 and Bill 5556 to consent agenda.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, both of those will be moved into the consent agenda. Awesome, did you have any other motions? Awesome, Senator Singleton, do you still?
I would like to motion to add the resolution for the police activity that was sent to you guys on underneath at the top of new business.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, that'll be added. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Sophie?
Hi, just motion to remove BSOF ratification from the agenda.
I don't think we need to, we'll take that off the agenda. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Senator Simpson?
Motion to add resolution 5558 to the bottom of old business.
Is there any dissent? Awesome, is there any other dissent to this agenda? Senator Vega?
I'm not sure if this motion was already made, but motion to move Lex 5542 to consent agenda as well.
Bless you.
Is there any dissent to moving Lex 5542 into the consent agenda? Seeing none, that will also be added to the consent agenda. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and, awesome, we'll go ahead and move into gallery input. Does anyone from the gallery at this time wish to speak? Cleo, we'll run the mic back to you.
Motion to move to the front.
Second.
Y'all could just come to the front, there's no like explicit motion or anything.
You also want it back, or?
For tonight's gallery, if we could just have gallery line up like we do when we move to the front, that would work great. Great.
And of course, seeing so many new faces, a quick reminder that gallery input is a 30-minute time. Each person gets about 5 minutes per, although that time can be extended, and we abide by the rules of decorum for the Senate. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and thank you. Hi everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Donovan, and I'm not a member of Rams for Israel or students supporting Israel. Rather, I am here as a concerned Jewish student, concerned for my safety and those in my community. I am concerned by the repeated misinformation and calls for violence that I've repeatedly heard by people in this very room. Calls for violence by students against students has no place on college campuses in the US or anywhere. Calls like there is only one solution, Intifada, revolution. The Intifadas were a period of immense violence between Palestinians and Israelis, in which resulted in the deaths of thousands on both sides. My father's friend was killed in a suicide bombing at Hebrew University in the cafeteria. She was trying to pursue her education and was killed because of who she was and where she was, by terrorists who didn't want peace. These same ideas are being propagated by students here at CSU and are targeted at Jewish students on campus. Immense violence like this is sadly not far removed from my life. I was there when the war started. On October 7, 2023, I was supposed to see Bruno Mars perform in Israel. I woke up at 6:40 to the sounds of sirens and rockets. Living in Tel Aviv, we were shelled 3 to 4 times a day for the next month and a half, where my program went from 160 to 27. I lived in Israel from August 2023 to May 2024, and for 9 months after the war started. In April 2024, I survived a terrorist stabbing attack in the old city of Jerusalem. I've been bombed by Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, and for the first time in history between Israel and Iran, I witnessed it from my balcony where ballistic missiles flew above me. For me, this conflict is personal and I have direct connection with it. I have been told that I am a disgusting person because I lived in Israel and because of my experiences there. I don't support Netanyahu or the current Israeli government. In fact, I protested in Israel during the largest demonstrations in Israeli history before the war had started. I support a two-state solution, and I support peace between Israelis and Palestinians. And yet I am vilified because I think that the Jewish people should be allowed self-determination. Yet here in this room, we have student leaders calling for public executions and saying that they will take an active stance in the dismantling of the state of Israel. These calls of violence not just impact myself, but other students. They have even said Rams for Israel is a Nazi organization, equating Jewish student groups with Nazis is one of the oldest and most common forms of anti-Semitism. It is reprehensible to equate a Jewish group with Nazism and is a direct incitement of violence against students here on campus and against students in these organizations. Last week, Rams for Israel hosted a Holocaust survivor who was medically experimented on as a child during the Second World War. And they're saying Rams for Israel is Nazis. I at no point have advocated or supported violence against Palestinians or Muslim students and have yet been continually threatened by students here in this room. I care for all students and love being an active leader here at CSU. I was a member of my college's DEI committee before the federal mandate effectively halted all DEI work. I do this because I think having a wide range of backgrounds and diversity in decisions is what makes America great and our universities a better place. I do not support our current administration in DC and believe that we as students in this room have more to agree on than meets the eye. I think it is crucial in these hard times to be able to talk to people with opposing views and would like to be that bridge. SJP, I support Palestinian human rights and would like to be that bridge to create a safer space for all students here on campus. I thank you for giving me this time to speak, and if anybody would like to see documentation of what it's like to live through an actual war, please feel free to talk and connect. In a world with so much division, I want to create a safer space for all here at CSU. Please think about our future of our university and our society, and refuse to let hate, incitement of violence, and misinformation win, and protect Jewish and all students here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Briella and I'm the president of Rams for Israel, a student organization dedicated to educating our campus about Israeli history, culture, and current events. Our mission is simple: to create a space for learning, dialogue, and respectful conversation. We welcome students of all backgrounds and viewpoints. Recently, there have been serious and untrue accusations made about our club, both in these meetings and across campus, including claims that we have harassed students and doxed a student and professor. I want to be very clear, these statements are false. Our organization has never harassed or doxed anyone, and we do not condone that behavior in any form. Even when we are targeted, we do not escalate or retaliate, we represent ourselves with respect. It's also important to clarify that Rams for Israel is not the same as Students Supporting Israel. We are separate organizations with different leadership, missions, and activities. Conflating the two creates confusion and allows misinformation about our groups to spread. What has been especially disturbing is the language that's been used. At a recent public meeting, our club was called a Nazi group. That is not only inaccurate, it's deeply harmful and dehumanizing, especially when directed at Jewish students. It distorts one of the darkest chapters in history and turns it into a weapon. Just last week, we hosted a Holocaust survivor to educate this campus about the real consequences of hatred and dehumanization. To hear Jewish students compared to those who carried out that genocide is inappropriate, painful, and alarming. This kind of rhetoric does not create space for dialogue. It shuts it down and contributes to an environment where Jewish students feel targeted and unsafe. I also want to speak personally for a moment. Members of our club, including myself, have experienced serious harassment. I've received death threats, I've been yelled at and followed on campus. There are times where I no longer feel safe simply walking to class. These are not exaggerations. This is what anti-Semitism looks like in real time on our campus. And it's not just our club. Jewish students with no connection to Rams for Israel or Students Supporting Israel are also being targeted, harassed, excluded, and made to feel unsafe simply because they are Jewish. When this kind of rhetoric is allowed to spread, it doesn't stay contained to one group. It creates a broader environment where anti-Semitism is normalized. We are working with the university to address these incidents, not just for ourselves, but to help ensure that every student, regardless of identity or beliefs, can feel safe here. What is most concerning is not only the harassment itself, but the way false accusations continue to be repeated in public forums. These claims damage our reputation, isolate our members, and contribute to a hostile environment. This is not just about a club. It's about our identity and our sense of belonging on this campus. We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for fairness, accuracy, and accountability. Concerns about any organization should be addressed through proper channels and based on facts, not lies. Rams for Israel will continue to stand by our values: education, respectful dialogue, and inclusion. We will continue to show up with integrity, even when it's difficult. I ask this body and this community to hold all groups to the same standard. Speak truthfully, act responsibly, and treat one another with respect. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Alexandra. I co-founded our school's Israel Action Network, now Students Supporting Israel, and I'm here because I am done. I'm completely done with SJP spreading lies about us and expecting nobody to challenge them. First, let's get the basics right. We are not Rams for Israel, we are Students Supporting Israel. If you're going to attack us publicly, at least have the decency to use our actual name. Second, the accusations you've made, harassment, doxing, threats, are false. Not exaggerated, not misunderstood, false. No one in our organization or in Rams for Israel is doing what SJP is claiming. What actually happened? A public speech at a public Senate meeting was reposted by a page unaffiliated with us. A public speech, a public name. That is not doxing. That is what happens when you choose to speak publicly. You do not get to broadcast your hateful views and demand immunity from the consequences of them. That is cowardly. If you want to stand up and make inflammatory claims about Israel and the Jewish people, then stand by those words when people respond. Own them. Grow the hell up and understand that your words have consequences. People are free to repost your public speech and call it your hateful and defamatory lies. Let's discuss what actually caused that reaction online. A statement was made in this chamber accusing Israel of something as extreme and as unfounded as harvesting human skin. Think about that for a moment. That is not just controversial, it is outrageous and it is deeply offensive. Everyone has the right to be wrong, as SJP proves. I accept that none of us are susceptible to believing lies and I accept that none of us are clear and free to not believe lies and misinformation. None of us are perfect, but the freedom to make mistakes comes with an obligation to admit when those mistakes are wrong and do our best to correct them. Let's recognize that a mistake was made when someone suggested, unchallenged by the Senate, that Israel harvests human skin. That is anti-Semitic. We cannot let it slide because somebody in this chapter made this grossly offensive remark that brought us into this dispute. And it is entirely predictable that a claim like that would provoke backlash online. That is not doxing, that is called accountability, SJP. ASCSU's focus should be on correcting that mistake, not doubling down on it. And SJP has also accused us of harassing Black and brown students with zero evidence. The incident they keep referring to is us walking into the BACC to invite people to a film screening. That's it. If that's their definition of harassment, then that word has completely lost its meaning. What actually happened? We were treated like a threat from the moment we walked in. Someone announced Rams for Israel is here, and they proceeded to kick us out and call us Nazis. And it's ironic, right? Because the people calling us Nazis are kicking us out of a space merely because they disagree with our ethnicity. That's not very inclusive, is it? And while SJP is busy making accusations, let's talk about reality. We have been spat on, we have been screamed at, we have been told, kill yourselves, cunt, and we have been told, I hope Hamas gets you. That is the environment Jewish students are dealing with. So don't rewrite the story and pretend that we're the aggressors because we invited people to a film. CSU investigated SJP's claims. They found zero credible evidence, none. So what SJP is doing right now by being here and calling us out is not simply raising concerns about student behavior, it is spreading misinformation. And let's talk about SJP for a minute. SJP openly empathizes with Hamas, a Palestinian terrorist group responsible for brutal acts of violence. Instead of defending their position with facts and evidence, they try to generate sympathy by misrepresenting us. The reality is hard to look at. Children slaughtered in their beds, bodies desecrated and mutilated and violated with inanimate objects, mass rape, and families torn apart. Confronting that makes it impossible to justify or excuse what Hamas has done, and that is why SJP doesn't focus on the facts. They rely on distortion and false claims. To the senators in this room, all of you, last week, most of you applauded SJP's outrageous accusations against Rams for Israel without asking for a single piece of evidence. These are serious claims, and you have accepted them without scrutiny. That is not responsible leadership. You have the responsibility as senators to educate yourselves and hear both sides of an issue before taking a stance. Instead, you clapped for a group spreading lies about another student group simply because they disagree with us politically. Blindly clapping for lies seems to be a common occurrence in the Senate also. When something false, inflammatory, and conspiratorial is said in this chamber, your responsibility is to question it, not blindly applaud it. The conspiracy theory about Israel harvesting skin left unchallenged reflects poorly on all of you and on this institution. And this isn't just about disagreement, it's about standards. And to SJP, instead of engaging in actual conversation, you avoid it and then accuse us of harassment when we respond. You repeatedly refuse to have a public debate with us because you cannot defend your positions. You simply support what's popular, and you refuse to hear both sides of an issue because it might change your narrow and privileged and pathetic worldviews. We are done staying silent. You can keep repeating the same accusations, but repetition does not make something true. Evidence does. The burden of proof is on you right now, and you have nothing. If you're going to speak publicly, stand by it. Don't say inflammatory and false things in a public setting and then hide when there is pushback. Own your words. We are adults, and if you can't do either, if you can't prove what you're saying and you won't stand behind it, then stop pretending this is about justice. It isn't. It is about deflection, and everybody here can see it. You are liars pretending to be victims, and I am done letting you lie with impunity. Students supporting Israel will remain a visible vocal presence on this campus. You will not intimidate us into silence, and you will not silence the truth. We'll keep showing up and speaking out. I'm Israel High. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Stella Sosnow and I'm a Jewish woman. I'm also a Democrat, part of the LGBTQ+ community, disabled, and a survivor of sexual assault. I'm an advocate for reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights, immigrant safety, and disability rights. I'm dedicating my life to becoming a social worker and advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves. I love CSU and I want to feel safe on my campus. However, because I'm Jewish, an identity that I was born with and cannot change, this campus has become hostile for me. Because I believe that the Jewish people deserve a homeland, this is not a safe place for me. Because I believe that in the 22 Arab states and 57 Organization of Islamic Cooperation countries, that there should be one Jewish state, this is not a safe place for me. Because I'm Jewish, when I'm working as an admissions ambassador and giving tours of CSU, I get screamed at for my identity. Because people are not willing to have open dialogue about my lived experiences, I'm not safe on this campus. So I am here to tell you about who I am and what I've experienced. I hope I can make this crystal clear and explain who I am as a Jewish woman. I've lived in Israel, studied the history, and even volunteered with Palestinians. I support a two-state solution. I want Israel and Palestine to both have peace. I want a free Palestine from Hamas. I want Palestinian women to not be ruled by their husbands or married off right when they start menstruating, or anyone who identifies as part of the LGBT community to be killed. I do not like Benjamin Netanyahu, and I don't support his politics. I actively went to a protest that was supporting his removal from office when I lived in Israel. My friends who live in Israel do not support him either. I don't support war. I believe there's no reason for violence anywhere, and I do not agree with many of the things that Israel has done. I believe that I should not be harassed, told to kill myself, and told that they hope a terrorist organization gets me just because of my religion. I believe my friends should not be spit on for being Jewish. I believe a boycott, divest, and sanction resolution should not be passed in the ASCSU Senate when no Jewish representatives are present. I believe in having an open dialogue and not immediately assuming awful things about people before having a conversation. I believe that no one should ever be doxxed despite their beliefs or any harm they have caused on others. On behalf of Hillel as the incoming president, Rams for Israel, and the Jewish community at CSU, we all condemn doxing under any circumstances. This is personal to me. Personal because just like how on October 7th so many Jewish women were raped, so was I. Personal because I have friends and family who were held hostage and killed by Hamas. And people on this campus refuse to hear me out, listen to my story, and be open to understanding my lived experience as a Jewish person. And we probably have more in common than you would assume. This is also personal because Israel is a place that I love, that I've been to 4 times and lived in. I've actively gone to Israel on missions to help Palestinians work to destroy the division that there is between Israelis and Palestinians. Personal because I'm being attacked for my religion and for who I am. However, the strongest form of resilience against anti-Semitism is Jewish joy. So I'll continue to travel to Israel, light the Shabbat candles every Friday night, celebrate my ancestors, and proudly identify as someone who supports there being a Jewish homeland. I'll proudly condemn anti-Semitism for as long as it takes until no student at CSU has to fear their safety because of their identity. Thank you, and Am Yisrael Chai.
Hello, my name is Ian and I am here as a student supporting Bill 5558. Reproductive health care is something that is incredibly important, especially with the current federal administration and attacks on women's bodily autonomy. Expanding access to abortion medication is just going to help students. That's no-brainer there. Affordable reproductive health care is extremely important for college students. It's $650 for mifepristone pill, which is ridiculous as is. And other universities across the campus or across America are implementing such policies. University of Oregon just got free abortion care access in their health network. And I would love if Senate was passing this bill to endorse this state legislation. Thank you.
Hey, Senators, just seconding what Ian said. Please vote in favor of Resolution 5558. I am a student representative on the LSAT board. However, I'm not speaking on that level. I'm speaking in my capacity as a student today. But I do still think that it is important that we support the LSAT board with this resolution. I think it's essential to support your student constituents by endorsing this state bill to get medicated abortion access on college campuses. As it pertains to supporting a bill like this at the state level, students put themselves at risk if they speak in an individual capacity supporting House Bill 1335. And attacks targeting pro-choice, healthcare, and women's rights advocates are very well documented throughout the history of this country. But as ASCSU, as a representative of the student body, supporting this means, one, that we can represent the interests of the students and organizations here today without them having to bring unwanted harm upon themselves. Two, they can add material for our lovely LSAT board, like I mentioned a little earlier. They could give us some more stuff to use at the Capitol to lobby on behalf of this resolution, of this Senate bill, excuse me. And then third, people can demonstrate to students that we stand on the side of healthcare access and on the side of reproductive rights and the side of autonomy for all students. At the time where crisis pregnancy centers target vulnerable college students here on our very own campus, The access that House Bill 261335 could provide students is something we should be putting our momentum behind and our leverage behind as the Associated Students of CSU. Shout out to everyone wearing denim today. I love you all. Thank you for your time, and please vote in favor of Resolution 5558. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm in support of essentially a bill being hosted in this state today soon. It's essentially going to be able to allow abortion pills within student college clinics, and there's a resolution here at ASCSU. I hope all of you would be in support of 558. And it is extremely important because this will be a support statement of this bill passing. Why is it this important? A lot of students on campus have only CSU health insurance, and because this insurance only applies to the CSU health clinic, it makes it extremely hard to be able to afford abortion health care off campus. Abortions are a right that every student should have access to. As students, having the right to have an abortion allows the freedom of choice. If students are forced to carry a pregnancy to term, they may be forced to drop out or have an even harder time affording to live. As someone who grew up with a young single mother, I understand the struggles of having someone unable to afford 2 children without proper support. There have been times where we couldn't afford much food and where things like braces were not affordable. I would have to get to school on my own because my mom couldn't drive me and school buses were way too expensive to be able to use for a year. But what would have made this situation even worse is my mom didn't have the choice. If my mom didn't have the choice to have abortions throughout my childhood, I wouldn't be here today if that were the case, because I would have been forced to possibly look after younger siblings as the oldest. My mom had gotten pregnant at the age of 19 and had me at 20. She couldn't even legally drink yet, which is the age of most college students. I am currently 19 and I can't imagine having kids at my age. I'm sure many people here can't see that as well, because we're all here to gain an education and grow as people so we can be able to afford to make choices such as having kids in the future if that's what you want. If someone wants to have kids right now, that should be their choice, but allowing students who don't want that to be able to have abortions is also a choice they should be allowed to have.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isabel, and I'm here today to speak in support of Resolution 5558, which is to get all your official support of the passing of the Medication Abortion on Campus bill, which is also known as HB 261335. As I said last week, it is so important for ASCSU to stand up for the needs and demands of the CSU student body. We have already seen this bill get passed in the State House, which is amazing, and we are currently anxiously awaiting for this to go through the State Senate. With this bill being a bill that directly impacts and will improve the lives of students, it is important for us to throw as much student support behind this bill, and having the full support from a group of people who represent our student body, which is you all, is essential. I would also like to point out that CSU's main Fort Collins campus is surrounded by 3 crisis pregnancy centers, which are, as we like to call them, anti-abortion centers. These are centers that prey on individuals, often students, in this case, in search of reproductive health care during moments of crisis that are usually time sensitive. This is a cause of concern because if our peers are in a situation where they cannot receive or don't have access to the care they need at their regular health center, it is possible that they will end up at these crisis pregnancy centers, where care could be delayed to a point where they no longer have a choice. This resolution is, I think, an important step in showing state representatives that the student body is demanding that we pass this state bill, and it will allow our peers to have expanded access to abortion and reproductive health care. So I urge you all to please vote in favor of this resolution. Thank Thank you, and good evening.
I'm going to keep this short and to the point. I come to the ASCSU Senate as a student who's speaking about reproductive health care. In a time like this, when the sheer act of preventing a mother's death or being able to prevent the misery of someone who never consented to giving birth is heavily politicized, it is critically important for this Senate to endorse medication abortion access at CSU. This university is no stranger to resources for sexual education and care, so this should be encompassed under those same principles. Especially with the amount of young people on this campus who are not prepared and or literally cannot afford to birth a child. Having abortion medication on this campus is a matter of saving lives, and by that logic, every person on this Senate should be in support. Thank you.
Good evening, ASCSU Senate. My name is Ilan, and I'm here on behalf of Students Supporting Israel. Many of you may know Rams for Israel, but what you may not know is that SSI has always existed alongside it, even under different names. While Rams for Israel focuses on cultural education, language, history, SSI exists to engage in the harder conversations, the ones about conflict, disinformation, and the real experiences of Israelis and Jews today. That distinction matters because right now that distinction is not being recognized. In fact, much of the scrutiny, hate, and hostility that Rams for Israel has faced on this campus has stemmed from a misrepresentation. During a recent ASCSU Senate meeting, Sophia Johnson went viral for referring to me and my club as Rams for Israel. That was not accurate, but that moment blurred the line between two different organizations, and that mislabeling has stuck to us. As a result, our identities, our intentions, and our work have been misunderstood, and in many cases targeted. I also want to address something directly. There have been claims that Sophia Johnson was doxxed and that Rams for Israel is responsible. That is simply not true.
We can't do full names.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I wish I knew the rules. I'm sorry. Sorry, not full names. That a student was doxxed and that Rams for Israel is responsible. That is simply not true. Her name, her speech, and her Instagram account were all already public. Assigning blame to RFI for that situation is not only inaccurate, it has led to further targeting and harassment of students who had no involvement. No one in RFI, nor SSI, nor anyone on campus doxed anybody. That kind of misrepresentation has real consequences. Our group is made up of diverse perspectives, politically, culturally, and personally. Many of us, myself included, openly criticize actions of both the Israeli and American governments. But that nuance is erased the moment we are labeled. Instead of being seen as individuals, we are reduced to harmful assumptions, called things like genocidal, Nazis, or worse, simply for who we are or what we are perceived to represent. That is not dialogue, that is not education, and that is not what a university should stand for. Recently, I tried to do something simple. I brought the Torn documentary to campus, not to push an agenda, but to invite students into a more complex human conversation. The film shares experiences from both Israeli and Palestinian perspectives. It centers on people in New York City, not politics and not the war. My intention was to invite all the cultural centers to open doors and bridge across cultural gaps. Instead, we stood outside one of those spaces and heard people jeering, "Rams for Israel is outside." Before even entering, we were already being judged and again misidentified. When I did try to step in, I felt unsafe, and as we walked away, we were told directly that they don't associate with Nazis. That was on Holocaust Remembrance Day. That moment wasn't just about one interaction. It reflected something deeper, a campus environment where Jewish students are being grouped, mislabeled, and dismissed without being heard. And I want to be very clear. This is not about shutting down criticism of Israel. Universities should be places for difficult conversations, but there is a line between criticism and dehumanization. And too often, that line is being crossed. Dehumanization was one of the first steps that enabled atrocities like the Holocaust. When Jewish students are excluded, mocked, or made to feel unsafe, not because of what they say, but because of who they are, that is not activism. That is discrimination. So I'll end with this. We're asking for three simple things: accuracy in how we are represented, accountability when harm is done, and equal access to campus spaces without harassment. These are not political demands. These are baseline expectations for any student community. You have the ability to set that standard. The question is whether you will. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Israel Chai.
Good evening, members of the Senate. My name is Samuel, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak today. I want to share a personal experience about the quality of dialogue on our campus, specifically how we engage one another when we disagree. I've had the opportunity to interact with members of Students Supporting Israel, SSI. I went into this conversation open to listening and open to being challenged. And what I found was respectful, thoughtful disagreement, creating space where different views were heard rather than being dismissed. We did not agree on everything, but we were able to ask questions, exchange ideas, and have real conversation.
Unfortunately,
That's to
we're
me.
out of time. Just one quick second. So Chair Monty.
Motion to suspend that part of the bylaws of time limits.
Is there any dissent?
Can you amend that? Can you amend that motion?
One of the mics need to turn off.
Can you amend that motion to be just the?
Can you turn off your mic real quick? It's
All right.
the button.
Real quick, this should take 2 minutes.
Thank you.
It would be from the 15th.
Thank you. Would you be willing to amend that motion to be the total time limit, not the individual speaker's time limit?
I can clarify that be the 15th to the 19th word of, actually, I can read that out.
I'm gonna make the clarification and amendment of total time limit.
Okay, is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, you can go ahead and continue.
Okay. So I have had the opportunity to interact with members of Students Supporting Israel, and I went into this conversation open to listening and open to being challenged. And what I found was respectful, thoughtful engagement. SSI has always been welcome to open dialogue and disagreement, creating space where different views are heard rather than being dismissed. We did not agree on everything, but we were able to ask questions, exchange ideas, and have real conversation. And that, to me, is what an academic environment should look like. And in contrast, I've also had interaction with protesters on campus who oppose the state of Israel. And in these situations, once it became clear that I had a different opinion, the conversation ended. There was no space for discussion, no room for exchange. I'm not here to dismiss anyone's view. I'm here to raise concern. If we truly value learning and growth, we must be willing to engage across differences, not avoid, censor, or cancel each other simply because we disagree. There is the narrative that groups like SSI are violent, hateful, or even racist towards Black people. And based on my own experience and the consistently open and welcoming nature of SSI towards dialogue and disagreement, I find this narrative very baseless. As a Black student, I have spoken with members of SSI on multiple occasions, and those interactions have been respectful and open. I was treated with dignity, I was heard. And I want to share something about my background. I am from Nigeria. I've seen what real violence looks like. In my country today, many communities are still under attack from extremist groups, churches are burned, people are killed, families are forced to leave their ancestral land. Nigeria accounts for 93% of Christian genocide around the world. And casualty from extremist group has exceeded those of countries that are currently at war. This is not abstract to me. This is my lived experience, something that affects my people, the community I come from. And when I share these experiences here on campus, the people who took time to truly listen and show empathy included members of SSI. They listen, they acknowledge my story, and this means something to me. My hope is that this campus remains a place where people are judged based on real interactions and not assumptions. More importantly, I hope we commit to having difficult conversations, especially when we are uncomfortable with it. A university should be a place where conversation stops. It should not be a place where conversation stops because we disagree. It should be a place where conversations begins. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Hassan and I moved here from Iran 2 years ago, and I thought I can share some of my experiences during this 2-month war back in my country and what I see on campus, especially between all these Jewish and pro-Palestinian groups. And here's my speech. I'm here not to support RFI, but to tell how they supported and are still supporting my cause and giving me tribune, not only within CSU, but also outside. During past few months, SSI and RFI
held joint tables for my cause. And many of them traveled the weekend to attend pro-Iranian protests in Denver, literally every weekend. However, not only did I receive any interest from SJP and YDSA from my cause, but it tried to twist the truth and use censorship to drive their political cause. They silenced me when I wanted to talk and asked them to be our voice for freedom. How naive of me, thinking they are about human rights. YDSA literally blocked me on social media after I put a single comment on their post against their narrative. I bet they would do the same for Palestinian-born if they did it. Iranians are the target of the same ideology by the godfather of all terrorist groups in the Middle East, including Hamas, which pro-Palestinians support under the name of Palestine and under the robe of justice and democracy. We are all target of the same thing that Jewish people experienced for decades, if not centuries. You don't care about Palestinian lives. I bet you never really talked to one, if not blocked and cast them out like me. SJP and YDSA claim they represent the oppressed, but only if it's aligned with their political narrative. They held a memorial for 120 MENAP students in Iran 6 weeks after they were killed in a strike on February 28. Why 6 weeks? Because after 6 weeks, there was compelling evidence that it was a US strike made by mistake on a building that used to be IRGC building and still resides within their buildings. They wouldn't hold it if it wasn't a US strike because that's not aligned with their narrative. They don't care about the rest of the 45,000 lives raped, tortured, and killed in my country, not even those 200 school students that I personally gathered their photos and displayed them in front of them. It's simply not aligned with their anti-US, anti-Israel narrative. You call yourself students, future scientists, but you're afraid of evidence and accountability, two major pillars of scientific research. If you want to speak freely, then give the audience the freedom to judge your claims based on the evidence. But you don't want the freedom for your audience, and that's the reason you show up with masks and sunglasses, even in a memorial for innocent people. You already know how wrong your cause is, and I'm here to tell my fellow students how wrong your cause is. From this point forward, I will be there to tell the truth. Wherever on campus you want to spread lies and twist the truth about what's happening in my country, Iran. I won't let you build another Palestine to target Jewish people under that label, as Israel is helping my country to be free again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. With that, does anyone else from the gallery at this time wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into Bill 5565, the 2026-2027 ASCSU budget.
Oh,
Let's do this.
thanks, I forgot I dropped that.
Bill 5565, fiscal year 2027 ASCSU budget. This provides for the payment of expenses for the Associated Students of Colorado State University for and during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026. You have 10 minutes.
Okay. Hey guys, so I'm low-key gonna wait for Jared to speak on this, because he is the one who fully put it into bill form. And I'm sorry, I'm really tired.
Yes, Jerry, get up here. What? Will you come and explain the breakdown? What? Okay, right.
Okay, sorry guys, awesome. So basically if we go down, Jared's gonna be passing it out. Actually, I'm gonna bring my computer up here.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay, wonderful.
Do you think this whole up in Excel sheet says I'll talk to you?
Yeah, would you mind emailing that to me? If you wouldn't mind, sorry.
Sure.
Can we call for site recess?
I would entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess just so that we can get set up. I was hoping someone would be slightly calm about it, but Senator, or Associate Senator Middleton.
I motion for, can it be 10 minutes, because this seems like a lot.
Sure.
Okay, 10 minutes. I thought, sorry. 10 minutes.
Five. There's just a, okay, so.
5 minutes, all right, 5 minutes.
Motion's for 5 minutes, do I hear a second? Second. Do I hear any dissent? Hearing none, 5-minute recess, see you in 5 minutes.
The reason why I said I can't talk to you right now is because I've heard, this is the first time I'm here. Because he's my.
Let me make sure that
Unless Tara fixed it, like there was stuff.
Thank you, Victoria. You have a good rest of your night.
Oh wait, you did.
So it's good? It's correct?
Oh, for awesome. Okay, I'm really good. I'm so sorry, guys.
We still have some fun. I would take it.
Oh, I am.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second real quick?
It's fine.
I had a meeting with Craig today. I'll talk about it a little bit in my report. I'm also bringing together my notes for my meeting with Craig, my meeting with Paul, and my meeting with Ollie. I hope to have that sent out either tonight or tomorrow. But found some information. I also emailed some of our state reps about changing state law. But I'll talk about all that stuff in my report.
I would love to, just because I didn't get anything in the, like I started to send out 2 emails, but I never got anything.
They ended up like replying.
Unfortunate. Okay. I would like to be included in those. I get
Go
it.
forward. We'll send you the response if you're fired.
Did you get surgery?
Oh, I'm gonna get a thing tomorrow, and then I'm gonna get my wisdom teeth out in May.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got this. Hey, sexy queen, I miss you. I miss you more. Was there anything that I can help with? Did you say you missed Lauren?
I miss you more.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, that's me too.
My number is 12. Remember that, like, estimate is 12,000.
In the worst case scenario, we go with an Monday.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was already planning to do. This year's bar met at like 4 p.m. on Monday, and we're like, we don't actually know what the number is.
Everything that I've realized is this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it really is.
No, this is all estimated. Hey, this is how we can get
Oh, it's worse. Sometimes the expenses are estimated.
I'm so sorry to volunteer twice. We sort of find the time to be 100% over our knowledge.
Okay. Yes, I would like that. I also have the busiest week, like, alive, like, just like the next 2 weeks.
Like, this is my schedule is pretty flexible.
Okay.
So just send me your availability again, and I'll hit you up with
Lovely. Sorry, I just like,
Exactly, yeah.
it's a rough time. But I'll talk about that next Senate next? Okay.
It'll be next Wednesday, the second session of that.
Yeah, basically it's the attached file. Okay, so basically that bill is just kind of describing what's happening in so like these are the actual numbers. I did it this way because last year to kind of submit a link to an Excel spreadsheet. It's a real big person that thinks about Excel. It's because one, that Excel spreadsheet is constantly changing, and two, that does not work for any sort of record. So that's why I made this PDF so that we can have
a question for like all of you guys.
Yeah.
I know Jill, maybe you were talking about maybe dissolving the parliamentary position. Is that?
That was a Brooke project, I hear. That would be a summer thing if anything is built for the parliamentarian role. Ultimately, our parliamentarian
it's up to you.
except for the very function as an archivist, the technology officer.
Okay.
I guess I would say
dissolving work position. Because like if your position was dissolved, I'm just asking because there's like money
we said.
We would just have to reallocate that.
So this is the current version.
Okay, it could be allocated to like discretionary.
I could go to discretionary, it can go.
Anything within the legislative sub.
It goes back, I believe, into the Senate discretionary. And then we can do
Yeah.
Also. Oh, my bad.
And also the total? Down. Really? No, this is my first year. You got this? You want me to? Yeah, it was more last year. You can look through the things and find it. Just say the highlights. Anything you feel like you really need to defend at this point? Any big changes? That's true.
I'm ready.
We can return back to our seats. We'll now be going back into Bill 5565, the 2026-2027 ASCSU budget. Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. So I think the best way to give you guys a visual on the actual budget is through the Excel spreadsheet, which is the working budget. So in the Teams, there's a different slideshow that has kind of like the budget right now, but the budget is ever changing just because we don't know how many students are going to be enrolled and everything. So I just want to put that out there that this is the working budget. So to start it off, this is, we are getting $410,000 for payroll, which will be evenly distributed amongst all three branches. So first off, this is how much exec is going to be getting paid, and you can kind of.
Personal privilege, can we just zoom in a little bit? Yeah.
Wonderful. So yeah, this is kind of how much exec is getting paid, and if you can scroll down, all directors and associate staff get paid the same except for finance. And so yeah, and then the total for exec, can you wait? And then
another point of personal privilege. Victoria, would you feel comfortable if I put a copy of this in the Teams channel?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
On the point of
privilege, all this budget and also every other budget is in the teams already, in the shared documents, general accounting, and then it's FY, ASC's accounting, so if you wanna look at 25 and compare, you can also do that.
Point of clarification, that's a point of clarification.
Yeah, thank you, Kieran. Oh my gosh, wow. Okay, wonderful, yes. So I hope you guys will all look at it and everything. Oh, she went on mute a little bit. So now we're going to scroll down to look at the court. So exec, the court, and senate all have different needs and different positions. And so that's why they get paid differently. I will say what's different about this year is that for payroll, we actually added $55.56 to directors and associate directors. And then for legislative recruitment and retention officer and the chairs, they all received a $200 raise. And then for judicial, the election manager, elections engagement officer, and associate justice received 142.85 pay. And so I want to highlight that this year we really tried to raise the wage for all branches and everything. So yeah, and if you scroll down, we also raised speaker pro and everything. So I'm gonna stop on the payroll because I feel like we have enough of it. Now we can go to the exec budget spending. Just down here. Down. Sorry. Okay, wonderful. So this is all of the initiatives that executive is wanting to put on, slash where we put the money. So the biggest thing that we did add is the blue books. So the blue books are exam books that all students can get, and they get them at the library. And every single year we're kind of spread thin, slash like kind of just going to different departments to try and get money for it. So this is something that we fund, so we decided to just do it and put it into our budget right away. Same thing, we kept travel grant the same. We did not have the budget to expand it, which we would have liked to, just because that does provide a lot of different experiences and conferences for our students that really do help academically and also with connections and just growth in general. Some other things, we did add some money to basic needs. Can you scroll down? I think we added $1,000 to basic needs from the original budget. I'm gonna be honest, I did not look at the original budget or what was proposed last year, so I'm not sure how much more it was. But yeah, and then if you scroll or to the right and then up, we did add a good amount of money into a little bit more into traditions. So we did add 1,000 for student tailgating, just because that is something that we did hear a lot from students wanting to have that experience. We are going to really try to make sure that every single group will be wanting to go, even if you don't like football, because not everyone likes football and that's completely fine. But providing a fun space that would just bring community for every single student. Another thing is that we added $2,000 more to Feast of the Food Trucks. And so basically what we're wanting to do with that initiative is have a day where it's not just only food trucks, but we actually partner with other student organizations to bring different events on the IM fields and like cornhole or volleyball or different things. So it will have a good community and really bring students in, and it's not just grabbing food and then leaving, which is also completely fine as well. But we just want to provide some fun things for our students. And then we did took out, can you go back to the Office of the President? I'm pretty sure the total for Office of the Presidency was like $35,000. And we did take out a really big chunk from the Office of the Presidency. That did come from the retreat and team bonding. So I have been working with Ryer and Dylan to talk about the retreat. I really want to make sure that all senators all associate justices, every single person that's in ASCSU will want to come and have a good time. But it was, I think, $13,000 that we had allocated there before. So that's a lot different than what we have now. But $8,000, I think, is a good enough amount to make sure that we have fun events and we can provide food and things for you all. But it also doesn't mean that we're taking a really big chunk of student fees and using it for us. As much as I do think a retreat is super duper awesome, I think that there is differences. And so yeah, and then if you go to our office supplies, we did take out a lot, or we took out a couple $1,000s for this. We really just went across the entire budget and saw where we could shave off different parts. So we shaved off, I think, like $5,000, $6,000 from this section. So that was a really great way to not spend money and save. And then, like I said, the travel and seed grant fund was, we did take down the seed grant just because he's closing out. Oh, and that's not there. I'll get that number, guys. But the seed grant, we did bring it down just because, or no, we brought down BSOF. So BSOF was set for, I think, 165,000, and now it's going to be 145,000, just because right now, I talked to Sophie, the director of finance, but we have about $30,000, $35,000 that's going to be rolling over into next year. So we don't have to fund it the full amount in order to still have the same effect, because we still have rollover from this year that will go into next year. And then another big thing is that for Senate, we did have to take off $5,000 for bills and everything, and your guys's for bills and everything. So it is set now at $95,000. This is something that we did not want to do, and I seriously did not touch Senate until the very last, like, we need to take $5,000 off. I did talk to Ryer about this. He was in the room when it was made. Dylan was also in some of the meetings as well, because I wanted to make sure that all three branches.
Senator Singleton.
I'd like to extend the speaker's time by 5 minutes.
2.
You like 3.
Let's do 5.
Awesome, cool. With 5 minutes being the motion, is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll get 5 more minutes. Associate Senator Pendleton.
Yeah, I just had a quick question about, what was the deficit? I can ask questions.
We'll get into this.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Also, I want to clarify that I'm not allowed to actually say that we're in a budget cut or there was a deficit. That is from our accountant, so I won't say that. I can't. And
Can you pause the timer real quick, since this isn't? Yeah, just to touch on that, this is a point of clarification or information, I don't really care, but basically, we weren't ever really facing the deficit. I know I've used that term, but more I use that term to refer to when we're spending more than we're bringing in. So when spending is greater than student fee revenue, we always had a balance where we could do that. It's just long-term, that's not really a smart plan. So in this case, the deficit would be us spending from our reserve balance, just to clarify things.
okay, wonderful, thank you, Jared. And so, yeah, we did have to have this budget look different from last year. And that was kind of just making sure that we had, a 7% reserve in our fund balance. And so every single balance actually within CSU, you need to have a certain percentage in your like savings almost. And so for us, it's 7%. That's actually pretty low. We're the exception that LSE and CSU in general allows us to have. So yeah, that's something that's very, very, awesome and very grateful for. We did ask for a mandatory 1.11 increase, so that looks about 32 cents per student will be paying more. That is mandatory, we can't change that actually, just because of payroll, salaries, or it's for general and administrative stuff, also salaries, and then bad debt cost. Also bad debt cost is whenever a student doesn't actually pay their student fees, then we have to pay it. So I just wanna clarify that as well, cause I didn't know what that was. And then, another thing is, honestly, I think that's pretty much it of the budget.
Awesome job. With that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A on this legislation by First Year's Plaku. Senator Singleton.
All right, first question is, did we have to make any changes to any of our current student organization contracts?
So yes, we did cut down, I'm pretty sure, for our, Rocky Mountain student, or we actually increased the Rocky Mountain Student Media, sorry guys, words are hard today. Non-endowment, contract, there we go. We did raise it just because they raised it last year, so we wanted to make sure that we were safe and raised it by a little bit. I'm not sure by the exact amount, but we are going to negotiate with them over the summer, so that negotiation has not happened. So we might not spend it all and we might stay the same, but they might increase it and we wanted to be aware.
Cool, and then my other question is, how are cuts to certain office supplies determine like the needed amount and availability of it?
So we looked at the amount that was allocated and the amount that was spent already, for this past year. And we just made our assumptions off of that, since we hadn't used, and also off of the past 2 years, since that's when Farah stepped into her role and she's been able to keep a track. So we looked and we saw which ones kept getting allocated a certain amount that just wasn't getting spended. And so that's where we decided to cut it off. And to kind of make sure that we weren't just spending or allocating $15,000 to something that we always spend $10,000 every single year.
Cool, thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Associate Senator Middleton.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Jackson stole one of my questions. But I do have a question. What was, I guess, the cost that you had to cut for this budget?
So I am not going to say how much we cut from previous budgets. What I know is that where we started off from, in the discussion of the budget, we had to take $30,000 to $34,000 off of our original budget. So due with that, the information, we did have to cut in several different ways.
Cool, and I yield.
Thank you. Pro Tempore Jordan.
This might be a sort of, so for the student tailgating, are you gonna try to have more, like this is kind of what I got, but I just wanna make sure at that event, are you gonna try to have more people besides just FSL there, like tailgate? Okay, that's all I had to ask. You?
I just want to add. Yeah, we would like to get more student organizations, and also just support, maybe even different, instead of just having like really big football tailgates, which we will have, but also maybe doing it for like volleyball games. I know a lot of students wanted basketball. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that with the budget that we have. Also, it's really cold and I maybe students do want to be out in the cold and everything, but maybe not, and so yeah.
Coolio, Senator Backen.
Yeah, just a quick clarification, is the, I guess I won't call it a deficit, the shortfall we were facing, is that a realized shortfall? Like, were we paying more than we were intaking, or was that a theoretical one given the proposed budget? Because just looking at the 2025 one, like in summary, the total spent is less than the proposed, like, total, so just clarification on that.
We have personal privilege, would we be able to have both budgets be seen on the screen, just so we can see the comparison side by side of that?
If people can give me some patience.
We will work on that. If it takes too long, someone motion for a recess, and we'll do that.
I'll also post this year's current budget in the Teams chat.
Answering to the best of my ability, I think what happened with this budget is that after COVID, during COVID, we really didn't spend a lot of money. And so then the next administration started spending a lot more, but then also Senate and exec and everyone started spending more as well. So why we're in a shortfall in a sense is because we have to have that 7% reserves in our fund, and if we keep spending to the rate that we are, we will be at a shortfall. That is what I'm under the impression of. Jared? I yield to Jared.
Okay, yeah, also, thank you, Melanie, for bringing this up too. The amount in this year's current budget isn't the final spent amount for this year. The budget spreadsheet gets updated very slowly because it takes a lot of work to do that. A lot of hours are put into keeping track of our money, and it's very confusing for everyone involved. So this won't be updated with like April's expenses likely till a good way through May. So that's one caveat, and also we usually don't spend the full amount we allocate each year. I know everyone has plans at the beginning of the year that they want funded. I'm sure some of the programs that Victoria wants to put on next year, inevitably, not to jinx you, probably will not happen to its full extent, and this usually results in there being leftover money at the end of the year. I have confidence in you, but those are just some of the reasons why it looks like that. You look back.
We will be putting on as many of these as we can, and I would like to say every single one. I'm not going to because I can't fully promise that. But we will be really working over the summer to make sure that we actually have the plan and organization to be able to put these on. So yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Can I go, or?
You can go, Cindy.
Okay, point of clarification, what is soap refill and why are we designating $300 to it?
So just to provide a point of clarification, for our point of clarification, that's gonna be more of like a procedural thing or like a context of a specific question that's already being asked, but I can add you to the speakers list and it'll go crazy, if that makes sense. So we'll circle back to that. Everyone, there's a cliffhanger, super duper exciting. Senator Taylor.
As you could maybe imagine, I could talk budget all day, but I'll keep this quick. I have a couple of payroll questions and that'll be all. I'll let you.
Point of personal privilege, or can I make a motion to have a 2-minute recess just to have both budgets up? It's just for accommodations online, since we can't view both budgets together. Is that something I can motion now, or?
Trying to remember what just happened. Hayden hasn't asked his questions yet, so it might be a good time to do that motion if you want to make that motion.
I would motion for a 2-minute recess to have both budgets up on the screen.
Is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll have a 2-minute recess.
Jared, if you could email that to me, please. One from last year.
Jared, can you email Gino the other budget? This was a G request.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, they never yielded me a second one. That's why I was like, technically, everything that has happened has seen you. Okay, that's good, that's good. But keep an eye out. Very, very.
Are you having any
And we have a fucking eyeball.
So I feel like a very big thing is making sure that all the college councils are also set up successfully, and making sure like if they need any help within that recruitment and retention officer would also help with that. And then also helping Ryer with really anything that he needs, or the speaker, just because if we're going to have our chief of staff and our associate chief of staff working through the summer, I think that it would,
Send her back in.
Motion to extend the speaker's time by 10 minutes.
Can you amend your motion potentially to be the period of Q&A?
Motion to extend the period of Q&A by 10 minutes.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, 10 minutes will be added to the Q&A time.
So we wanted to make sure that Ryer also felt supported, and that they had someone, but also we want to fill up Senate, and we need to hit the ground running, with recruiting people and also finding new ways of retention, because we have known that Senate doesn't really have the best retention. And so how can we fix that, and how can we elevate it?
Sweet, thanks so much. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Taylor.
I'm back. Okay. Why does the recruitment and retention officer have summer pay? Was that, and I know that was kind of answered, but why is it that one specifically and not like the parliamentarian also and some of those kinds of things?
Just because, kind of like I was talking to Kieran, it's like a lot of the times we are going to have senators for next session, but all the seats are not filled. And a lot of the time, different seats from different colleges aren't actually also filled. And so we wanted to make sure that we had different ways and come up with different modes of recruitment and retention, and what does that look like. And that is kind of reaching out, making sure that we get connected with the other people in shared governance. Also, the recruitment and retention officer will also help Ryer find different committees and talk through what chairs would like to be on and serve. So that's going to be another thing that the recruitment and retention officer does. Why we didn't do the parliamentarian, just because the parliamentarian, Gio has done an amazing job for the next person. Like truly, yeah, clap, clap.
Guys, come on.
But truly he has done an amazing job. And so I think that's something that we need to take into account, is that I think Noah has done a great job with recruitment and retention as well, but they really haven't gotten much responses from college councils. Like they've reached out and done it, but I think it really is going to be a matter of really going to them, setting up meetings, having discussions of how does this look like? How do we make college councils actually sustainable throughout all of our years at CSU? Why is it that only one college council is really awesome and the other just really kind of fizzled out? And so that's why we're not going to have the parliamentarian or the speaker pro. It's just because, again, there's already been systems in place that are set up this year, and I think that we need to do that with the Senate recruitment and retention officer.
Ooh, can I offer a point of clarification? In regards to, obviously I was the recruitment and retention for the first half of this year. I did do actually a lot of the work over summer, and I do think it's incredibly beneficial to get that start earlier, because I find that, I did find I got better responses connecting with students over the summer, because it's something that they were excited to going in, and then when they were already here, it was a bit harder to get in contact with students, especially first year students, just because they were so involved and obviously you're new to college, this is a new experience. Your first thing that you want to do is probably not ASCSU, especially considering that it's not paid. But yeah, if that offers any point of experience.
No, thank you, Farron. Also, I would like the recruitment and retention officer to work with Ram Welcome on some type of event or coming and talking to first year students. I think that would be super duper awesome to getting them familiar and known with ASCSU.
As an additional point of clarification on that specific note, I actually had a meeting and that like specific concept idea like this week. So that's already rolling. The idea of having freshmen coming in out the door, I think I campaigned on this. And knowing that they have a community set up for them within our infrastructure, that being College Council is, I'm impartial, so I didn't finish that sentence, but.
Okay, is it me again? Okay. On that summer pay kind of thing, so when I was speaker, I was paid over the summer because one of the things that you do is like write the bylaws. And so what specifically, what is the accountability mechanism to make sure that we're not just tossing money at somebody and not getting the work done?
We're going to set up a system where first I think talking to the person, I think summer is very interesting because a lot of people go home or they have different responsibilities with jobs and everything like that. So there will be some mechanism. I'm thinking of kind of like, Andrew has a lot of different things set up to track like hours and everything like that. So I think maybe following some of his ways of how he did it I also talked to him and he said that in the summer, they actually had a really great system set up. And so I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know it quite yet. I need to have that conversation again, just because we kind of went on like a bunch of different informations within ASCSU, but there will be a sense of accountability. And if Senate would wait, I'll have that question completely answered by next week.
I could keep going, but I'll ask one final question. I noticed that the PR officer was not in the budget, and one of the things I know that you mentioned, eliminating that position, that would take a bill passed by the Senate to do, especially because that position is mentioned in the Constitution. Do you have plans to bring this bill, and if so, when?
I would have technically.
Can you yield to me as the operator?
I'm gonna yield to Brooke.
I would imagine that legislation would be brought to the floor at the beginning of next year. I think when we're looking at the different positions and the different positions that are filled at next week, we'll see which ones maybe have interest versus don't. But in terms of pay, I don't think that the president is necessarily obligated to give any position pay. So it being included in the budget, I think is okay.
So my question was more so along the lines of eliminating the position, not the pay of the position. I would love to see the position stay and the position paid, but that's my own bias.
I believe the end of your question was when would we intend for that legislation to hit the floor? That was the first part of my response. I believe it'd be at the beginning of next session, not obviously next week because it's elects and we shouldn't have one waiting over the summer. Not elects a bill that takes 3 reads, but next semester.
Okay, I yield my time.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna add really quick. Ryder and Jared, we already talked about this, that it will get written, and everything for time-wise. Yeah, it's not gonna be next week, but it will be, that piece of legislation will be completely written and seen at the first session. And you guys can clip up this video and show it to me if it's not.
Just a quick point of clarification on the discussion we had with this decision. Both Diana and Barron were involved in this.
Yes.
We were kind of discussing not eliminating the responsibilities of the position, but merging it with the Speaker Pro Tempore and paying the Speaker Pro Tempore an equivalent amount to other second in command officers for the other branches.
Additional point of clarification, previous to the position being curated, and additionally in the current status of like the bylaws, some aspects of the PR position also relate beyond the Speaker Pro Tempore role and into the recruitment and retention officer role. So if you want to be involved in like that kind of discussion, hit any of the people that just yapped up over the summer. It's gonna be really good. So many co-authors, phenomenal. But with that, Senator Taylor, did you yield? Awesome. Officer Dix.
So you mentioned earlier that, like the decision to cut or just make amendments to the budget was based off previous year's spending or lack of spending. Did you have any other considerations when choosing to cut or increase certain items?
Yeah, I think it was definitely on what we're also wanting, to see next year. I think, yeah, there are some things that I really didn't want to cut. I think legislation, I think bills are really, really powerful. I think they can put on a lot of different events. I think that they can support a lot of different students. So Senate is one of the ones that I really didn't want to cut. As well as in our exec, I would have loved to have a little bit more money in the Office of the Presidency to put on different initiatives and really make sure that it's all planned out. One of the biggest ones is the student council.
Motion to exhaust the speakers list?
Is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing dissent,
I can amend my motion to exhaust the speakers list and give y'all 30 seconds to hop on now.
let's amend that to as much time as it takes for Brooke to write it down.
As much time as Brooke takes to write it down.
Oh, yeah. Is there a second to that motion? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and do that. Please raise your placard if you want to be added to the speakers list. You're both already on the speakers list, so we're chilling. With that, if you want to continue.
Okay, really quickly. The student concert series, I would have liked to put a little bit more money. The student concert series is going to be something that directly helps our students who are musical or any type of like creativity with that. Because we are going to provide actually paying the students to come and perform for our community, which I think would be super duper awesome. We're not only just giving back to the students, but we're also allowing them to perform, which is another like, a lot of them have already got a lot of practice, but it's also practice on really big scale, large scale events, which I think would be super duper awesome. That is something that we're going to have to make sure that we market very well, and try and get a good amount of people there. But that is something that I would have liked to. I also would have liked to add into graduate affairs, $3,000 more or even $2,000 more. They have a picnic that they host every single year, and they usually can't really provide it for every single grad student because they just don't have enough money. And so they're going to be looking at different ways to fund it this upcoming year, but that is something that I really, really would have liked to see. I think also same with like travel grant, I think I would have liked to even raise it a little bit more to like 28,000 for each, but that's just not happening. And the different things with like cutting, I know that we cut a good amount of money, or I think we cut like $1,000 from environmental affairs. So does that answer your question, Diana?
Yeah, thank you, Ayo.
Thank you. Chair Rivera.
I have nothing to say. Mine was for the accommodation. Yes, I yield my time.
Awesome. Chair Hill.
Sorry, I just had a couple of follow-up questions about the concert series. What was your decision behind making the budget for Eyeball bigger than the concert series?
I'm completely good with having conversations about lowering Eyeball, and then adding. Hopefully we will be working with RAM Events to put on the student concert series. That's kind of what we're thinking. I know that they're also on a tight budget, so we shall see. Why I left it for Eyeball is because that's how much Grace spent on it this year. And we're also having it already in the No Summer, or in the ballroom, which is cheaper than the Alumni Center. So if we want to make edits to reduce that, I'm very, very open to having that conversation. But why it is just because that's how much Grace said that they would spend. And so, yeah. Thank you, I yield.
Cliffhanger ending, Associate Senator Shelda.
I forgot. Should I just repeat the question I asked before? Okay. I was asking about the soap refill and why we were allocating $300 to that.
So the soap refill is in the Rams Against Hunger food pantry. And so in there, you take your reusable thing that you use for washing your hands or your soap dispenser, and you go fill up your soap dispenser with soap. And then it also provides cleanliness. Soap is really expensive, actually. The Dollar Tree, shout out, it's like $1.99 and it lasts for a couple months. Sorry, I digress.
Soap from the Dollar Tree only costs $1.03.
I yield. Right? Yeah.
Perfect, wonderful. Senator Simpson.
Yeah, I just had one question about the lobbyist line item. I saw that in the current year's budget, it was budgeted for $16,000 and ended up spending $22,000. And then was budgeted again for $16,000 for next year's budget. Was there a reason it went over that's not gonna happen again, or do you know what happened there?
I don't know what happened there, and I can't speak to what happened. But what I can tell you is that I know that there was the contract got messed up, I think on everyone's end. And so we had to pay higher because I think it was like a time constraint issue thing. Again, I'm not fully sure, but we're going to be contracting a lobbyist over the summer. So we're starting to look at different lobbying consultants, yeah, to get this contract signed. It will be $16,000, because that is the line item that we're going to be spending on it. Also, I'm hoping, since it is going to be over the summer, we'll be able to actually negotiate. I know that also we're going to be looking at other lobbyists because of that reason, because it was so expensive. We really want to find a lobbyist for $16,000.
Hey Lisa, do you want to provide any further clarification on this?
Oh my gosh, right. Sorry, Lisa.
I yield to Elisa.
Thanks. We just ran into some contract delays and difficulties residual from last year, which resulted in this 2026 fiscal budget being used to cover those residual costs. So it was entirely contracting issues. And it's way too long of a story for me to tell on the mic, but yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to that, Jolicity, I had this exact same question for Jolicity, and I gave her a heart attack. I was like, why is the number this high? And she clarified that we only spent $16,000 on this year's contract. This is due to BS from other years. You don't want to get into this, like Lisa said, it's a mess.
Great, so glad I opened that can of worms then. I will yield to Baron.
Just a quick question. So under the OTP for the Town Hall and State of Association, can you explain like a little bit of like why you put the slash like both things? And then, yeah, I'll have more questions based on your explanation. But yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, we're just brainstorming on a name for that. We wanna do something that will be an event that we can inform students on what ASCSU did throughout the year, and also have a time where Isabella did a really great job at the State of the Association this year with having kind of like a Q&A with different branch leaders, which I thought was super duper awesome. So I think that having that and maybe having some different other things that students would want to come and everything, and it would be a really great night to also inform them on what we do, why we even have ASCSU in the first place, and kind of just inform them. So if any of you guys have names on what we should call this event, I'm very open.
Think if I should
Ask it.
Would is State of the Association something that you want to hang on to for this budget? Or what would your opinion be for a push for it to go away?
Again, I think I would be very open to it. I think that if we aren't going to do a town hall / State of the Association, how do we tell students what we do? And I think that's kind of why I am holding on to it a little bit. I would be open to not having it, if we really think that students aren't going to come, don't want it, and don't care, which are also all valid. But I think that we should want to try and get students to understand what we do. I think we should want to try to inform them on what we have done this year, so then they can also start to get more involved within ASCSU and feel comfortable with that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the State of the Association, since it's under OTP, that would be the job of any of the chief of staffs, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I yield, that's all I have.
Do you yield back to Blake? Okay, Blake, do you yield? I mean, Senator Simpson. Cool. Senator Bishop.
Hi, I have two quick questions. My first question, I was looking at the marketing and communications operations budget, and obviously like not to compare like this current year's budget, but I just want to understand your thinking for why you increased the budget for the ASCSU apparel and decreased the discretionary funding for the marketing department.
For the ASCSU gear?
Yes.
Okay, for that one, it's because me and Ryder spoke, and Dylan, and we want to make sure that every single person in ASCSU does get, whatever we get, like, merch-wise, like, I know a lot of us know of, like, the quarter zips, but not every single person got it. So we decided that they didn't need that much in their discretionary and that we could add it into the ASCSU gear to make sure that every single person within ASCSU will be able to get something. And that will all be handed out at the retreat. And that is also why we're having the Marcom director, I think they're getting paid $250 over the summer, is to kind of do designs and local logos for a quarter zip or sweatshirt or something, and then have them ordered and everything, so they'll be ready by the retreat.
Perfect, thank you. Sorry, let me scroll back to the other page for my other question. One moment. For the Office of the President operations with the retreats and team bonding activities, the footnote for funds may not be transferred within the other, like within like this department. Do you plan on using the full 8,000 for like the retreat and team bonding?
I would like to, just because that is going to be, it's going to be the first weekend back from like, we have syllabus week and then we have the weekend. We're hoping that we do spend all of it. The chief of staff, speaker, president, will all be in the planning on the ASCSU, and the chief justice will all be on the planning kind of like committee for the retreat. So we are hoping to spend all of that money.
Okay, and if there were any leftovers, would that just go back to like the ASCSU fund, or like what do you plan on if there was any remaining?
If there was any remaining, I would probably put it in the discretionary for now, and then talk to different directors in the different areas to see if people need more money or not, and what events are going to need more funding that we just didn't plan for.
Okay, perfect, thank you, I yield.
A point of clarification on that footnote, this is something we've had in the budget for like the last 4 years. It corresponds to those yellow bolded items on the spreadsheet. This means that the money for this can't be transferred within the department to another use. Anything in green can be moved around, so like the money for student tailgating could be moved to eyeball if needed. but when it's in yellow, it has to be used for that purpose unless the Senate writes a bill to change that later in the year.
Awesome, that's the end of our speakers list. So with that, this will be sent to the Budgetary Affairs Committee. We'll now be moving into campus community reports. Does anyone wish to give a campus community report at this point? We'll run the mic back.
Hello, everyone. I just want to invite everyone to the People United. The People United will be having an event this upcoming Monday at 5:15 at the Intramurals Field at CSU. And it's gonna be like a potluck dinner with like lawn games. And it's just to celebrate the end of the year and just get everyone to like come together and share a space and just be in community. Yeah.
To add to that, it's also just like a moment where we can talk to students and different organizations and what we can do. We've invited a lot of clubs to come and participate. So yeah.
Hello everyone, I would like to invite you all to the May 4th concert band concert. It is going to be at 7:30 and tickets are free. It is at the Griffin Hall over at the UCA. It's first come, first serve. We'll be playing some American music and then some Latin music. And then we'll also be playing Star Wars as well, since it's May the 4th. But yeah, thank you.
Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into executive reports. If any of our friends from exec wish to give a report, keep it.
Hi guys, I'm just here, I'm Sophie, I'm the Director of Finance, if you don't know. I just wanted to share that the Board for Student Organization Funding is actually hiring for next year for the 26-27 academic year. We hold 2 seats specifically for the legislative and judicial branch. So there are seats available that are specifically for you all. If you have any interest whatsoever, it's a really cool way to get involved with the students on campus and directly give back in terms of student fees. And it's really not specific to finance or business majors. We really appreciate diverse perspectives and backgrounds and experiences, and so any and all are welcome to be a part of the board. If you have any questions about what that means to be a voting member, please let me know. There is a little poster with a QR code to apply on the little bulletin board out there. Other information, BSOF meets from 5:30 to 7 p.m. every single Tuesday. So that's kind of immovable, so you have to be available on that day at that time. But if you're at all interested, let me know, and I encourage you all to apply. Thank you.
Will there be a summer board this year?
Yes, yeah, so the board will also meet during the summer on an as-needed basis, so it's not every single week. The summer board is pretty much just for training, to make sure that everybody's ready to go when we come back in the fall. And on occasion, we might vote for the occasional presentation here or there on an as-needed basis. Yeah, virtually, not in person. Thank you guys.
Hey y'all, anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Lily, I'm the Assistant Director of Campus Engagement. Real quick, you might have seen I put it in the Teams, but it's very fun, unserious exec report. But if you have any fun ASCSU pictures of you doing ASCSU things, I put the photo circle link, and then also if you want, or you can text them to me, whatever's easier for you. I'm doing kind of a fun little end of year thing, so if you want to have your photos maybe be a part of that end of year thing, I am lacking on the Senate photos, and I'd love to include y'all as much as possible, so please put your photos in there by tonight. I know, I just mentioned it and now I'm saying I need it today. Yeah, I do. It's not that serious. Yeah, that's it. It's in the team.
I'll keep it so fast. We're doing some mental health tabling on Monday for finals week and then some more during the actual finals week, but we'll have dogs on the plaza from 11 to 2. So come check us out. We'll be out there on Monday, this Monday.
Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into judicial reports. If anyone from judicial wishes to give a report.
Hi everyone, a few things for me. First, thank you to everyone who volunteered or came to Know Your Rights bingo night or Rams Know Their Rights week. It was really successful. We packed Aspen Grill way more than 50 people than we budgeted for, and it was great. Everyone got fed and won some bingo prizes. So thank you all who came out. We have our last judicial meeting this Friday, and so if anything comes up, like complaint or opinion, we would still hear in like an emergency meeting, but for the most part, all of our scheduled meetings are done for the year. And then if you are interested in the court and you would like to be an associate justice or the deputy chief justice, we are going to be opening applications up here in a few weeks. Dylan is working on revising those right now and then getting them approved by Victoria, and then they'll go up on workday and they'll be open up until like probably midsummer. So it's gonna be a pretty long period just to catch people who are still here in school. And then finally, this runs student benefits, but so student benefits on the website split up into two sections. We have off-campus benefits and then on-campus benefits. And so off-campus benefits is now officially going to be moved to Rocky Mountain Student Media. So they're going to take it over and run it, and hopefully add their own stuff and market and really have it be institutionalized here on campus. And then we're going to keep on-campus benefits on the website. That comes from suggestion from Victoria and Ben. As we have the student peer review board, it makes sense to keep on-campus benefits and where your student fees actually go to easily accessible on the website. And so that's going to be happening. And then a few cool things on there that's coming up. If you guys like country music, Billy Currington is playing at the Blue Arena, and they have discounted tickets for that. I believe that's this weekend. And then if you guys like hockey, even if you don't, the Colorado Eagles is just like amazing. The environment is so fun. They have like a fry bar, like just a stand of just different types of fries. They're in their second round of playoffs, and tickets are about, I don't even know, like $100 to $300 right now, but they're giving all CSU employees and students a discount of $25 per ticket for the thing. So if you guys want to go to any round of playoff games, I would check that out, because we don't know if they're going to go like to the third round. If they do, they might not give us a discount, but at least make these ones. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into legislative reports, starting with officer reports, starting with me. I'll try to keep it as quick as possible, but I've been up to a good amount. Starting with some of the RSO / doxing / executive session stuff. I've met with a couple of different people, namely Ali, our friend from Slice, shout out. As well as Craig Chesson earlier today. I'll be synthesizing my notes from those two meetings and sending it out to all the people that were on those email threads last week. So look forward to that. Maybe not tonight, it's getting late, but tomorrow. Other than that, in that same realm, I've also sent some emails to some of our state representatives. I think that from what I did a comparative analysis of different state laws in regards to doxing in comparison to like code of conducts at the same like states, public universities, because I'm really cool. And it definitely seems like it's a state law issue. So more on that hopefully soon. Additionally, looking at other schools and contacting them. I've read a good amount of code of conducts in the state of Colorado as well as the other states that do have doxing in their state law, but I think affirming our connections with other universities is what will allow us to have the most up-to-date protections for students possible. And I think that this could be a phenomenal way of establishing that sort of thing. Additionally, executive sessions, I'm in contact with student legal to make sure that we're not violating open meeting law, because that would be bad. But as far as I understand, executive sessions are good. They just have to be worded very specifically to make sure that we're utilizing them correctly. Emergency session. likely what we might see, because we'll be we'll be ratifying all of the executive peoples. We'll also be electing all of our Senate leadership. That is during the new session. But because we also have our we have our last session of the 56th, directly followed by our first session of the 56th. I don't know if I said that correctly. That's not a ton of time, and we have to finish like the budget and the long bill and so having another day, that would be that Friday, the room's already booked, it'd be 6:30 next Friday, to finish anything we have to up for the 56th Senate. That'll also get announced in the Teams, and we'll try to get something in the newsletter. Other than that, the long bill is gonna be seen next week, not this week. Hopefully it won't be read in full. It'll also be accompanied by a version of the SFRB bylaws that Vice President Gottschall has confirmed they followed. If you have any questions about how the ratification of like the long bill works, feel free to also reach out. Additionally, in the Teams, I sent out a summer contact/collaboration form. If you're okay with being like pestered and annoyed with like, can you sponsor my legislation? What are your thoughts on this? Fill that out, and then we'll get that information back to the other people that filled out the form, so you can not have to spam everyone and then get no responses, which will hopefully expedite summer projects. Last thing, grad speeches are also next week, so if you're graduating, feel free to write a speech. It'll be in the agenda, and then you can give a speech. But other than that, that's everything I have for my report.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it's gotta be a long night, I'm already tired, so I don't have anything to report. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I won't be here this Friday, and most of this upcoming Monday, I'll be in Arizona for a wedding. Not my own, unfortunately. No, but just let me know if you all have any questions with the introduction of the bylaws for the 55th. As you can see here, I'm creating a bit of a reference sheet, assuming that they pass unamended. I'll keep updated on that, on basically little sections to refer to, and like the thing you can glance down, look at the back of your placard, stuff of that sort. In any case, let me know. Have a good night.
I don't have too much to report, but this last week, I've been emailing, I haven't got any response yet, but some management, like leadership, I guess, of C4E, because I think it would be really cool if ASCSU and potentially SLICE could set up shop during C4E workshops and events, so that students can come, so that we're coming to students rather than them coming to us. And you know, in those workshops, they talk all about involvement. It would be great if we bring the opportunities for involvement to them. I'll update you if I get any traction on that, but it's something that will be trying to continue and like make a real initiative over the summer. And I yield.
Awesome. Seeing no Noah, we'll go ahead and jump into committee and caucus reports by first race lockhart. Chairman Alty.
Hey y'all, so I know it's late, gonna keep it brief, still going to some shade. But yeah, no, we had our spring cleanup event this Saturday, had a turnout. And I have seen who has filled out the form and who has not. The form is now closed, so you cannot lie. And yeah, no, we ended up getting about 39 gallons worth of trash cleaned up from both the Oval, the Plaza, and the IM fields. So we were able to do some pretty good work. And yeah, if you are intrigued about running this caucus, hit me up. That is all. I yield.
Sick. Chair Hill.
Hi guys. Women's Social Justice Caucus last meeting is on Friday from 1 to 2. I hope to see all of y'all there. We'll be talking about just like a year end, what we did, plans for the future. Again, seconding if anyone is interested in chairing next year, please feel free to come and chat. And I also will be bringing vision board stuff because I'm a big fan of a vision board, so there will be crafts.
So please come, all right, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Mendoza.
Hey everybody, the University Affairs Vice Chair, we endorsed resolution 5558 and then we discharged bill 5559. We didn't do much else. We are having, I don't know, I think our last meeting this upcoming Monday, 12 to 1. So yeah, you should definitely come by. Also, DEI is having its meetings Friday at 5 p.m. So if you are available, please come stop by. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, Chair Leary.
Accessibility Caucus met today. I wasn't feeling so good, so I did not finish the report yet. But I have some silly goofy building plans, and if anyone's interested in giving feedback on that, basically there's a phase project going on, and they're working on upgrading certain entrances on campus. So the second phase is focusing on pouring some cement and then updating the automatic door openers. And then they have $85,000 currently for it. So if there are any specific buildings, and if you have any thoughts, place them my way. And then, yeah, third thing, if you're interested in being Accessibility Caucus Chair, please reach out to me. I think, like, we do a lot of work, and it's really important that we continue this caucus. Yes, I yield.
Awesome, thank you. Chair McLaughlin.
Yes, tomorrow, the Budget and Appropriations Committee will be meeting to review the budget from 1 to 2 p.m. We will also have an additional meeting from 2 to 3 p.m. on Tuesday, assuming I'm done at the doctor by then, but we'll try. This comes before my health, sadly. After that, it will go back to the Senate. So if you have any amendments you would like to make to the budget, I sent out a form. Please email them to me ahead of time. It makes things a lot easier for me. Yeah, I know probably no one in this room is in agreement on exactly what the budget should look like. So I encourage you to all express your opinions. That's the reason this has to be passed by the Senate and it isn't just decided by the President. I yield.
Thank you. Chairman Mosley, Part 2.
I forgot to mention, I will be bringing cake to the last session of Community Action Caucus. I anticipate that will probably raise attendance for the first time in this entire school year. So with that being said, now I yield.
Awesome. Are there any other committee or caucus reports? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into Senator and Associate Senator reports by whoever, raise your placards if you want. Senator Barfan.
Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. This is a report for BIG. DI is at 5 p.m. this Friday. But also, if you identify as a woman and want to be in a photo shoot, it will be this Friday before DEI committee. Please come. Victoria will be bringing some candy and slime, and I will also be bringing some snacks for us and Kool-Aid. So please come if you identify as a woman and you would like to do a photo shoot, and it will be in the ACC chambers. And also, if you have any questions, please connect with Vic. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Associate Senator Pendleton.
Yes, hello everyone. I came to you last week about this, but I'm gonna say it again because it's this Friday. It's queer prom. So awesome, and I expect like 2/3 of the Senate to go because I know how gay you guys are. But anyways, it's in the LSC Theater from 8 to 10 p.m. Dressing as the theme is optional, but encouraged, and the theme is Candyland. So go to that because it's super fun, and you guys are super gay. So, anyways,
I would like to call ad hominem on that.
I would. Okay. Non-germane.
Non-germane.
But I yield.
Maybe refrain in the future. But thank you for something I haven't seen before, ever. Senator Becky.
I'd like to make an appearance.
Hey, I have to follow that up. From the College of Engineering, we had our E-Days last week, which was super exciting. All the seniors presented their projects, so thank you if you came out, they're super cool people. Also, shout out to myself and other engineers. The first year presentation of projects which we've been working on this entire semester is on Monday from 4 to 5 p.m. So if you want to see yours truly present about the project I've been working on, I'll be there, but also like 700 other first year engineering students, 4 to 5 on Monday next week. Yep. What?
Location.
Oh, the Lori Student Center, sorry. Yeah, gonna be super lit, I yield.
Awesome, thank you. Senator Bishao.
Hello, Senate. The Apita and Swana Proclamation Day event is this Friday at 5 p.m. at the Flower Trial Gardens. It's gonna be so much fun, you guys should come. There's gonna be city officials, and there's also gonna be a little bit of food. You guys should come, because you guys love me. I yield.
Senator Mendoza.
I want to say thank you all that came to the Bison Blessing. That turned out really well. This is really super early, so you're gonna be like, why am I even bringing this up? The annual ACES PAL is gonna be November 14th next year. Because of all the budget cuts, we're gonna need, honestly, a lot of attendance, a lot of exposure. So if you guys can all show up, that would be really great. If you all can tell your constituents now, it's kind of like a save your date type of thing. So just let them know that this is going on. Yeah, everywhere is facing budget cuts, and this is an annual powwow, and we're gonna try to keep it going as long as we can, but I honestly need everybody's help in here. So please show up, because our constituents are involved. Thank you.
Awesome, Senator Roberts.
I have two things. One's from the College of Ag and the other one's just from me. The College of Ag is doing a Brain Break Week this next week for Dead Week, and so come by the Nutrient Building. There'll be a multitude of things happening. Like the first one's cake and coloring, and there's going to be a movie night. They're going to be watching the movie Buck. So it's really fun. Come and hang out and get some rest, and they'll have free food every day. So if you're looking for a snack during Dead Week, head to Nutrient. The second thing is we are a week away from the first Senate session of the 56th Senate. How exciting. For those who are expecting to come back and participate in the 56th Senate, if you come see me tonight, I have a QR code for you to fill out. It's just so I can get your information, your constituencies, and make sure that we get you registered for next year before we get started in the 56th. And it'll start after the last 55th Senate session. Yeah, that's all I have. I yield.
Could you also potentially drop that QR in the Teams for people that are appointed throughout this next week?
Can do.
Phenomenal. With that, Chairman Onti.
Hey y'all, so we're gonna have a lovely ceremony right here at the LSC on May 10th. It is the Pursuit of Excellence. Doors open, it starts at 3, goes till 5:30, and it's going to be a way to recognize the various students here within AACSU, within the Black African American Culture Center, and who are also part of it, even if they may not enter the space. We go and recognize their academic achievement. It's going to be great. 10 out of 10. Y'all should come. It's going to be amazing again. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Green.
Hi, Sexual Assault Awareness Month is almost over. Today is Denim Day, so thank you for everyone who wore denim. On May 11th from 5 to 7 in the ballrooms, there's going to be the Celebrating Survivorship event that SAFE is doing, which is like an end of the year event on the accomplishments, experiences, perspectives of survivors on campus. Survivors will have the option to be recognized on stage, and if you want to be recognized, they give you a little moth in it. It's really cutesy. And I would also like to second you going to Queer Prom, because I'll be there in a really nice dress that I've been told makes me look very nice. The theme is Candyland, if you want to dress accordingly. If you wear all black, I'll be able to find you very easily, so take that with what you will. Yeah, that's all I have. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Singleton.
Yes, I just wanted to kind of mirror off of what Senator
Walken, thank you, sorry, I only know you put your first name, that's my bad. Yes, engineering days were last week, it was very cool, there's some students who are building a satellite that will eventually be sent off, I think in 3 years by SpaceX to a low Earth orbit to be able to collect data for CSU. And then, yes, there's also a bunch of classes are having previews, Engineering 111 and Engineering 114 are having previews out in the Laurie Student Center as well. But yes, I yield.
Awesome, on to your dates.
Hello, just wanted to announce that next week is Healing Week in the back office. Yeah, it's Healing Week for everyone to heal before finals.
Make sure that we're yielding into the mics, no hate at all. Chair McLaughlin.
I'm excited to announce that due to me not knowing the schedule, Internal Affairs and Budget and Appropriations will be having a joint committee meeting next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Rah, rah, rah.
I'm gonna double check the legality of that real quick in terms of our constitution, but maybe super yay, maybe in 2 different rooms, but in a chill way. Associate Senator Perez.
I almost completely forgot about this. Ed Central also has a De-Stress Fest starting Monday 4th all the way to Friday 8th. It'll be really fun. I'm looking at the thing right now. It's posted on Ed Central Instagram. Tuesday 5th from 10 a.m. till they run out. There will be some pan dulce, so please come.
Awesome. Does anyone else wish to give the Senator or Associate Senator a report at this time? Cool, yeah. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and enter competence business with 2 hours on the clock, starting with old business. Before we do that though, Senator Singleton and Senator Pendleton, would you want to be parliamentarian and speaker of the board? Awesome, great. With that, we'll be entering Resolution 5558, endorsing House Bill 26-1335.
You can be pro tem. I'll get your. Oh, thank you. That's Dennis.
Confidence business. Do you remember it? Yes. So, yeah, just read out the title abstract, say there were edits made. University Affairs and sorry, let me see that. So sorry. Okay.
Abstract. This resolution aims to express support for the passage of HB 26-1335, open quotation, abortion medication access on college campuses, end quotation, period. Do you accept the changes that were made? Yes. Right. You have 10 minutes.
Great, I won't talk for very long. It's pretty similar to the bill that was up last week. I just rearranged all of the whereas clauses because I'm a insane person. I don't have too much to say other than what was said last week. I know you guys don't want to sit here and listen to a man talk about abortion for the next 10 minutes, so I'll go ahead and yield.
Just checking. Okay. Excellent. With that, we will now move into a half-hour period of discussion and debate, beginning with the first raised placard. Senator Menante, Chair Menante, sorry.
So, as stated, you don't want to hear a man talk about this or whatnot, and I'm pretty sure we all are like, yeah, people should be able to have a choice on if they have a child or not too, and they should have access to that medicine if they need to do. So with that, I will motion to this question.
Is there any dissent?
Dissent.
Oh. Okay.
Do I have to explain it? Wait, can I motion to dissolve into committee of the whole?
Well, first things first, we heard a dissent to the moving of the previous question. If you want to withdraw your motion, or otherwise we can take this to a vote.
Can I withdraw and then re-hop onto the speakers list afterwards?
I'll have you withdraw, we'll move into committee after. So, with the motion withdrawn, we now have a motion to dissolve into committee of the whole. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Okay, hearing none, we now move into committee of the whole. Special rules, yeah, okay. With that, we'll begin with the first raised placard in regards to this.
Okay, sorry, I had to laugh, but, sorry, I definitely gave Blake the right constituency and whatnot, but it is accessibility caucus, not disability caucus. And Brooke instructed me to move into committee of the whole to fix that, so I was instructed, I'm sorry.
In the endorsement part?
Yes, I just didn't want it to slip through, because that would not be ideal. So if we could just amend, disability caucus to accessibility caucus, that'd be phenomenal.
I don't accept the edit.
We have the whole, that's not how that works. But Jackson, if you could just fix that one thing real quick.
Where was it again? Accessibility. Uh-oh.
Tweaking.
Oh,
no.
No.
What
I
did
didn't do
you do?
anything.
Oh God, it's frozen.
Oh, government shutdown.
Wow, okay.
Do you want to go into task manager and just close it and then reopen it? Restart.
You know what type it is? Let me just go with
Yeah, just go into task manager and fix that.
all of our businesses now. It's good.
Sweet. Perfect, thank you, Gio. Wait, what would that be changed to? Accessibility. Accessibility. Found it. Change that. Accessibility. So disability.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure accessibility? Oh, it's right there. Uh-huh. I made an edit. Hell yeah.
You go do
It's like senior assassin.
Is there time?
Okay. Back to it. This non-substantive procedural edit having been made to it, is there anything else we want to change? Oh, Chair McLaughlin.
I would like to propose an amendment to add the following people to the forwarding clause.
That's something the parliamentarian can do if you just want to.
Oh, really?
That. Yeah.
Then can the parliamentarian add Senator Kathy Kipp, Representative Andrew Basenecker, and Representative Kiara Zokai to the forwarding clause?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind sending a quick reminding email to the parliamentarian to that effect.
I'll send you a Teams message right now.
Thank you, excellent. With that, is there anything else we'd like to edit or make in regards to the content of the bill?
Yeah, I know so.
All right, hearing none, Senator Menante.
I motion to rise out of committee of the whole.
Do we hear a second? Is there any dissent? Okay, with that, we rise out of the committee of the whole. And now, we're now back into the 30-minute period of discussion and debate. Yeah. Yeah, Senator Menante.
So with that done, I will motion the previous question. Eddie?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any dissent? With no dissent, we are now moving into a period of voting, which, unless specified otherwise, I'll do by placard. Senator Menante.
I will motion to approve this with unanimous consent.
Do I hear a second? Second. Is there any dissent? Hearing that, let this resolution be passed.
Awesome, sorry about that, was scared. With that, we'll now be moving into new business, starting with Bill 5560. Updating the BSOF bylaws for the 26-27, for 26-27.
Actually, it is moved to 5566 in regards to the dissent agenda.
My bad, Sophie. That means I have to sit back down.
I volunteer as tribute.
Who wants to be volunteering? There's a new person who wants to do it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
She's a social worker, it's fine.
I don't know your last name yet, but it's Frank, Senator Franks, if you want to join us at the front.
Oh my god, guys, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Since Word was closed out, it kind of also closed out some other things.
The only condition is you have to do it in the GeoBus.
That's true.
I can try doing it in a slightly British form.
British
Bill?
Is that okay?
No, just say it normally.
Yeah? No, I figured it out.
How do I turn it on? Just like this?
Yeah.
Because I said what?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
So, read it off, then pull up the clock. Afterwards, put the template. All right. Call this back to order. The Senate is now seeing parliamentarian.
Yes, I'm looking. Oh wait, it's in front of me. I'm so sorry.
Resolution 5566.
Where's the abstract? Right here.
This resolution aims to address the events of February 24th, 2026, and calls for the CSU PD to work with ASCSU to rebuild and restructure current dismount zone framework. You have 10 minutes and like 3 seconds.
You have to read it.
In full? Got it. Okay. Where do I start?
Where?
Cool. I did not know I was doing this in full. Got it.
Sorry.
Whereas one, on February 24th, 2026, at 10:57 a.m., a student was forcibly removed from their bike after not hearing an officer's orders to dismount in a dismount zone. This action quickly escalated, manifesting in the penalized student being detained by Colorado State University Police Department. And whereas two, the Colorado State University Police Department Safe Commuting Regulations Section 6A assesses a $35 fine for safety violations, including but not limited to operating in a dismount zone. Under the dismount zone section states dismount hours are 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays unless otherwise posted, and failure to dismount will result in a violation notice being issued. This section does not include any mention of forcible action, detainment, or other enforcement actions taken on February 24th, 2026, and whereas 3, for the context of the individual removed from their bike. The student penalized was wearing noise-canceling headphones, something common among people traveling on campus. The entity is tasked with enforcing policies which may escalate actions such as the aggressive removal of a student from their bike, should be informed and trained to be able to proportionally assess the situation and then tailor their response to such common factors that are reflective of the populations in which they are meant to serve. And whereas 4, CSU PD's mission statement is as follows: in partnership with our community, we strive to ensure a safe and secure campus environment through proactive education, innovation, outreach, and response. The unprecedented enforcement methods utilized by CSU PD in the case of this event were not in alignment with this mission statement. Additionally, the lack of communication and inadequate transparency provided to our campus community on the escalation of possible consequences of not dismounting in the dismount zone also is not in alignment with this mission statement. And whereas 5, Colorado State University is recognized as a platinum bicycle-friendly university. Fort Collins, moreover, is recognized as one of the 5 bicycle-friendly communities in the United States.
As such, individuals who come to our campus have an expectation of safety and regard while biking. This distinction furthers the necessity for effective communication when enforcement methods of existing policies are escalated, and whereas 6 CSU entities and departments should be held accountable in upholding their values. As such, CSU PD should be held accountable to their values of integrity, professionalism, unity, accountability, and respect. So, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Associated Students of Colorado State University condemns the actions taken by Colorado State University Police Department on February 24, 2026, and therefore too, that the Associated Students of Colorado State University recognizes CSUPD's actions on February 24th, 2026 as both a negligent oversight of appropriate transparency and as an incident of excessive force used on the aforementioned student. This is a direct violation of CSUPD's aforesaid principles of integrity, professionalism, unity, accountability, and respect, and therefore 3, that ASCSU calls upon CSU PD to release a statement outlining the reasoning behind the actions and or lack of action taken following the events of February 24, 2026, and therefore 4, that ASCSU calls upon CSU and CSU PD to seek out more incorporated means of stakeholder involvement in their policy development and in the processes undertaken to amend their enforcement mechanisms to further incorporate community service officers, and therefore 5, that ASCSU calls upon CSU, CSU PD, and or whatever best appropriate entity to notify students and faculty when the methods of the enforcement of Laurie Student Center and or University Policy Office policies change regarding the dismount zones on campus, and therefore 6, that ASCSU calls upon CSU PD to provide notice to the student body through the campus-wide communication system of the possibility of increased community service officer presence, and therefore 7, that ASCSU condemns the use of excessive force to remove a student from their bikes as unnecessarily brutal in response to a nonviolent offense, and therefore 8, my bad, that ASCSU encourages CSU PD to refrain from using any force against civilians given suspicion of nonviolent offenses, and therefore 9, do I have, awesome.
Yeah.
You have 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yo, why is this? What's that? Yeah.
Thank you, Gio.
I was like, that's in my way. You have 10 minutes.
Awesome, thank you. First, just want to say I'm sorry it took so long to be able to get this out. I needed to, Victoria and I had a meeting with actual student themselves. They were very open to wanting to work with us. And then I got in contact with her lawyer to be able to get like his opinion on this. And so far, he says that he's happy with this, and like if small edits need to be made or anything like that, he'd be fine with that. But yes, so this whole thing, our main purpose of putting this out there is as like a 2-part stage, where this is the first part, and then the next part would be us actually working actively with CSUPD to go ahead and rework all of our dismount zone structure, because right now it's pretty bad. In the construction zone, the sign is very tiny and it's completely damaged as well. So we want to make sure that this can be better updated, so in the future things like this don't happen. And then the other reason is so this could be used in the student's case as a an opinion of the student body showing support for her during her case. So that's why we want to get this out. After discussion and debate, I will be expediting this so we can get it out as soon as possible for her to be able to use during her court summoning.
To touch more on the dismount zone, if it hasn't already been made obvious, I like funny little nerd things. So when we were kind of discussing what kind of possible pathways that we could kind of take for more tangible action on this issue and preventing it from reoccurring, Jackson and I went to the different dismount zones around campus, and I don't know if anyone's like noticed where the police specifically stand when they are doing those checks. It's not in the dismount zone. It's at this corner over here. The realistic expectation of someone stopping in the dismount zone that is like this big safely is not a realistic expectation for students, and an alternative isn't being effectively communicated. Arbitrary law is not great law. So in terms of like what next steps could come from like the dismount zone project specifically, that's working with CSUPD, that's working with ATFAB, that's working with safety and risk management, and that's all, it's gonna be cool. Hashtag dismount zones.
Excellent. With that, we'll now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A, beginning with the first raised placard.
Is it this button? The recent. Ah, yeah. I'm smart in some things, y'all.
Chairman Nante.
Motioning the previous question.
Hearing a second. Well now, is there any dissent to this? Hearing none, we're now in the phase where I would have sent it to committee.
I'm going to be making a motion to expedite this bill.
Excellent. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, now, the very specific language of the bylaws states that it needs to be 2/3 of the Senate that does this. So for the purpose of that specificity, I'm going to do this via placard. All those in favor, please raise your placards. Put them down. All those opposed, put them up. All right, put them down, that's a lot here. Any abstentions? All right, thank you. With a vote of 24-0-2, I think we have 2/3, someone can check my math though. So, we're now in an expedited state for this bill, and in accordance with our bylaws, we now move into a half-hour period of discussion and debate, which I will see with the first raised placard.
Yo, you gotta show me how to do it.
1 second.
Out of curiosity, does anyone have any interest in amending this legislation? Cool.
Going to Cal.
Maybe.
Going to
Hashtag Cal.
Point of personal privilege / clarification, I don't know which it is this the same resolution and same copy that is currently titled police resolution, like, or are there, that I'm looking at, like?
Indeed, it should be.
Okay.
Yes, I think everything should be up to date.
I don't know, I was gonna do some more thinking, because we had talked about certain things like a while ago, and I don't know if those changes were made, because I don't see them.
I think we are planning on, I think we are planning on having those changes be made in, or like, have like the essence of the idea in the second piece of legislation. We just wanted to try and get it out quickly to be able to help this in her case. But if those edits want to be made, I wouldn't mind going into Cal.
Yeah, sure, it's more specific, yeah, okay, sure. I motion to go into Cal, if that helps. Committee of the whole.
Well, since I didn't recognize anyone or acknowledge the point, but nevertheless, having recognized your point of information, we now have a motion to go into committee of the whole. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? All right, hearing none, we're now in the committee of the whole. All right, with that, we'll start by first raised placard. Senator Bakken.
Okay, just for the first therefore clause, we had talked about, given that the nature of the situation, that it wasn't such a clear-cut incident, that maybe we focus more on the lack of transparency and less the actions of CSUPD. While I do agree that it is unjustified, I don't, given my reading of the police report, they say they have a justification and that's a legal thing, and I don't know if it's our, I don't know if it should be our place to make a judgment on whether that is a condemnable offense until the court of law decides on that matter. I yield.
Sweet, yes. So after having the meeting with the student and Victoria, we were able to get access to the body cam footage due to, I'm sure most of you know, in the state of Colorado, body cam footage is not allowed to be accessed until after the, everything. But after accessing that, we were able to tell by multiple cameras that it was believed to actually have been a use of, an overuse of force. And then I'm going to yield to Yeshai.
I also think that it's important to recognize, I helped with the bill as much as I feel like I could. The idea that action like this isn't accepted, like on campus, right? Especially against students, regardless of who it comes from, right? So state violence has historically been a very, very precedent thing. And that hasn't just gone away. You know, we don't live in an era where everything's magically different. And so violence by police officers is just as real as violence by anyone else. So we really do want to condemn like any use of force by officers, regardless of whether we personally feel it was excessive. And I think we have come to the conclusion about it being excessive due to like a lot of the evidence and the recordings of these things, but also simply the fact that their presence there is also excessive force, right? It does not take a fully armed police officer with a weapon to take down a girl who is half his size, right? And any use of like the very fact of the step up and the presence of officers is excessive force in this case, right? Because anyone else could be enforcing this. Anyone else could be doing this, right? We have CSU security officers. We have people who want to do these things. It could be ASCSU at this point. Like I'm willing to volunteer to stand out there in replacement of any cops. Because when you have officers, the point of an officer is violence. That's why they have weaponry. That's why they have training. If you have an officer there, the idea is that someone is supposed to, that's why you send officers to a place, right? So the fact that we have officers there is the violence in this case. Because anyone walking around has to be wary of themselves, anyone being there has to be wary of themselves, and the fact that you might not be aware that it's an officer, and then all of a sudden you ride in front of it, right? And so that is in of itself is violence when it could be anyone else.
Do you yield back?
Yeah, I yield back to Senator
Singleton,
thank you.
Cool, I yield to Brett.
Beautiful's insane. Would it possibly work for squad, if you will, if we amended actions, this is a systemic issue, obviously, to instead be that the Associated Students of Colorado State University condemns the procedures undertaken by the Colorado State University Police Department on February 24th, 2026, so that it's more so addressing like the systems in which like the action occurred, and the procedures that allowed for it, because that's what we're trying to amend.
Can I speak?
Yielded.
My only worry, like I agree with Yeshai, like this is a systemic problem. That's not what I'm saying this is against.
Of course,
But my worry is that this is an ongoing legal case, and I think we as ASCSU should make general statements. I think particularizing this to the specific incident, when it is an ongoing legal thing and when responsibility is a legal definition, I worry we overstep our bound and in doing so soften the message, and I don't think that is helpful. I think for better or for worse, generalizing this might be, I don't know, this is just my thoughts, sort of rambling, but in taking a stance on an ongoing legal issue that a judge will look at, I feel like is, I don't know, our justice system is imperfect, but it is also there for a reason.
Point of information, how does committee of the whole work? Can people just talk? Do they have to be yielded to? Do they have to be recognized by the speaker? Like, what's up?
recognize this initial point of questioning was started by Kieran, and this is all in reference to potentially editing that point of the therefore clause. But I see your point in sticking more to the content
I don't need
of
to be
things.
sticked to, I just.
No, I wasn't talking to you.
No, I know, I just don't know what's going on. I need to know what's going on.
We recognize Kieran, and this all came from that inquiry.
Got it, cool, thank you.
I yield to Brooke.
I think potentially the change of the use of term from action to procedure would kind of reflect a more general, but also more specific type of term. I think it's kind of doing both at once. Am I wrong? Is that why people are raising hands? Or speakers list, cool, sick. Instead of addressing the specific actions under, I think again, like it's support for the student that the process in which got us to this moment, to this piece of legislation, is something that we can address as this is not something that we're in support of. Rather than the specific actions carried out, I feel like there's more legal gray area when addressing that level of specificity, but if it's the overall like catalyst kind of thing, rather than what happened that day, it's what led up to that day.
Say one. Sorry.
I yield to back in.
Sorry, I know I've talked a lot on this. I guess the thing I'm saying is I completely agree. I think just saying, or like, I guess a proposed change I would say is that the associate students of Colorado State University condemn the procedures taken by CSU PD, or I guess in response to, sorry, my brain said, I yield, I don't know.
Okay, I do not think there is any edit in that unless, no. With that, we'll go down the speakers list. Chair McLaughlin.
Yeah, wait, so concern and assuage, maybe?
I think Singleton and I do want to make the edit, so if we need to circle back to that in a second.
Is there any reason this edit needs to be made tonight?
Sorry, Brooke. I think it's mostly just for the use of her lawyer and because things are probably going to be a bit chaotic tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next Wednesday, for the last meeting. I just wanted to get this out and spend this time to be able to like figure out the small things.
Okay, it just seems like from my hearing of discussions, there's still some issues that really should be resolved in committee instead of on the floor. So if y'all would feel comfortable with that, I would propose tabling this and assigning the University Affairs Committee to make edits to be proposed next week. Brooke, thoughts?
I think potentially the purpose of committee of the whole is entering the committee on the floor. I think additionally, if there was only one placard raised for an amendment that wanted to be made to this legislation, and Singleton and I are both willing to make that edit, I think it would take 2 seconds and then we could get out of committee of the whole.
Okay, then.
Sick. If we could amend the language to, that the Associated Students of Colorado State University condemns the procedures undertaken by blah, 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 blah. I think that'd be phenomenal.
Undertaken?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, under, is that one word? No, it's not.
Geo can figure it out if not. Phenomenal.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. With that, however.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Just, I guess the thought in my head I was thinking is like undertaken as unnecessarily violent.
There are other people on the speakers list, unfortunately. All right, with that, Chairman Alty.
Hi, y'all. I've been itching for this. But yeah, no, most of what I was gonna say is pertaining to what Senator, last name? Bakken, thank you. I think while yes, I do understand there might be concern about us taking a stance on a legal issue that is currently in progress, I think overall, it still is not stepping outside of our bounds, because we have made stances and decisions in the past that impacted students on ongoing legal cases. An example I can think of right off the top of my head in the 52nd Senate, such as when ICWA was brought up to the Supreme Court case, and we notified the letter and whatnot, which was still being seen by the Supreme Court at the time, I believe. So.
Was there a proposed edit in that, or was that just support for the edit that was made?
I was itching for during that whole yielding thing. That's why I was low-key pointing out to myself. But yeah, there's not going to be really a proposed edit. I guess this is more of like a point of, I wouldn't even really know if it's a point of information.
More discussion and debate then?
Yeah.
Okay. With that, I think in respect to the Senate's time, we will move comments of that sort under discussion and debate for this legislation. Senator Green.
Can I ask a question? Is that allowed?
I mean, as chair.
But then again, I don't want to seem very dictatorial unless someone wants to.
You can be dictatorial, I don't care.
If someone wants to, I don't know, appeal the decision of the chair, but just, we are eating into the confidence clock and we are running.
I don't have to ask my question.
If it's better suited for discussion debate, I think we should save it for discussion
Sure,
debate. Is there
don't
any
worry
more immediate edits we want to make to the language of this bill that we can do under committee of the whole? All right, hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion for us to rise. Senator Taylor?
I believe we have to vote on the edit, do we not?
It being an authorial edit.
We accept, right? We accept.
Senator Taylor?
I move to rise out of the committee of the whole by unanimous consent.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any dissent? All right, hearing none, we're out of committee of the whole, and we're now into a half-hour period of discussion and debate, starting with first race placards. Chairman Nanti.
As stated, previous statement, such as in the 52nd, we have taken decisions on legal stances and whatnot. Also considering the fact that it is a current ongoing legal case, that's the reason for expedition. And low-key, I'm going to be blunt, and this is a general statement. Cops aren't always the best for dealing with situations. Just my 2 cents. But I feel like if we can at least address the fact that this is a systemic issue, this is an issue that's probably going to happen again, that's not a lie, we should at least be able to be like, hey, we probably shouldn't put our hands on students or whatnot, or maybe we should try de-escalation, good old-fashioned de-escalation. And with that, I yield.
Chair recognizes Senator Green.
Okay, so I just did some research and apparently a police officer can use physical force when making an arrest or preventing an escape. I don't think the police officer was doing either of those things. So by that logic, was what the police officer did, was that not illegal? Is that not like a legal problem? We aren't lawyers.
Yeah.
Yet, working on it.
I will not become a lawyer.
I'll be a lawyer for both of us, it'll be great. But that's ultimately a thing for student legal, that's ultimately a thing for the individual's lawyer. What we can do is address the overarching kind of thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I cannot answer that question, sadly, with my limited knowledge, but.
I'm gonna rephrase my question. I think I worked too far ahead in my brain. If CSU is not stopping illegal things, is that something we can condemn?
Not in the sense of identifying it as legal or illegal.
Got it.
But in the sense of, that was weird, let's write it down.
Okay, cool. I yield.
Excellent, thank you. Associate Senator Schaefer.
Hi, I have a lot of experience in the legal field. I worked for the district attorney in Denver, I worked for the state public defender, all of that stuff. So I'm obviously not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice, but for anyone concerned about it being an ongoing case and how a judge would look at it,
judges and prosecution are a lot more critical of cops than even the public defenders are. They look at their actions pretty critically, so us supporting it is only going to help her case. So I would say for anyone concerned about the wording, the fact that it's an ongoing case, the judges in Fort Collins specifically, I've worked with, they're all pretty reasonable. They would view this in a positive light. I doubt any of them would look at this and say it's something against cops. In fact, the amount of emails I've had to send to police officers saying you messed up your report, you didn't do your job right, now we can't prosecute, now we can't do anything with it. So this would only be looked at positively in my opinion.
Thank you. And you yield?
I yield.
Excellent. Senator Moore.
Okay, so I guess my biggest thing is, and like, feel free to like stop me if this makes sense, but I just wanna make sure I'm understanding that like, as we're saying all of this, like, we wanna like change the wording and everything, we're just helping her case more with like basically showing that like, we're behind her and everything and that we're in support of her, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then also, my next question is like, how exactly, like, are we sending them this like full bill, like that whole type of deal, or is it literally just us basically going like, hey, we support her and like, what you did is messed up, like kind of type deal, I guess?
The lawyer has access to this bill, so after it's sent, I'll just send him a message and I can CC people if they would like me to, of it, and just to let him know that this is available for him to use if he sees fit. But this is also mostly also used to help us in the next piece of legislation that we're going to write as kind of like a backbone off of that.
I think additionally, in terms of the accountability of any general resolution when we're addressing an issue on campus, it's that we're writing it down so that future students can see that this was also an issue, it's an issue that they also face. Additionally, in terms of like the dismount zone like aspect of it, it's a form of internal accountability of like, this is a thing that we could probably figure out how to fix, let's work towards that.
Okay, gorgeous, that was brilliant, thank you.
Excellent. Is there anyone else that has a point of discussion or debate at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we move into a period of voting. Which, unless specified otherwise, I will do via placard, unless there's any objections. Hearing none, all those in favor of the passage of this bill immediately, please raise your placard and keep them up. Excellent, put them down, please. All those opposed, please put them up. Excellent, please put them down. Any abstentions? Excellent, please put them down. With a vote of 25 to 1 to 3, this bill passes. Under my duties as parliamentarian, I'm required to tell you all we only have about a half hour left of confidence business. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Awesome. With that, we'll now actually be moving into Bill 5560, update BSOF bylaws for 26-27. Esteban, do you want to join me?
Language, young man.
Okay, good shot. Come on.
Bill 5560, update BSOF bylaws for 2026-2027. This bill outlines the updates being made to the BSOF bylaws for the 2026-2027 academic year. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, so basically, there's just a few changes. It's kind of customary to, at the end of each year, for the board to kind of like reflect on what worked well, what did not work well, and if any clarifications should be made to the bylaws to make the next year work even more efficiently and create less confusion. And so there's three main changes that we're making. The first change is adding just a little like piece of a sentence to one of the articles, basically requiring members to disclose if they are a part of the RSO that's presenting to the board. So, for example, I'm a part of a student I'm on leadership for a student organization that was presenting for travel grant, and I felt it was pretty necessary, and as well as a lot of the other BSOF members, felt it was pretty necessary for us to tell the rest of our board, hey, by the way, I'm the vice president of this organization, so I'm not gonna be adding to this conversation at all. Just for clarity, to keep each other accountable and make sure that we're doing everything from a viewpoint neutral standpoint. So that's change number one. And then change number two just comes from, we saw a lot of presentations for end of year celebrations or like graduation celebrations and things like that. And our bylaws currently say that we are not allowed to fund commencement ceremonies. And that's pretty vague. There's nothing like specific about what that means and what that looks like. So we added a section that says the BSOF will not be allowed to fund RSO specific award ceremonies. So there's kind of two parts to that. It's that the BSOF bylaws currently say that we cannot fund awards and we cannot fund commencement ceremonies. And so kind of just clarify that and just kind of axe that out altogether just for clarity. And then we will also be adding a section that's adds some specificity to that. So it just says, BSOF funding shall not be used for events primarily associated with graduation or end-of-year recognition, including commencement ceremonies, senior celebrations, or similar activities, particularly those occurring at or near the end of the academic term, or those primarily intended for graduating students or specific organizational members, rather than the general student body. And just a reminder, I guess, and if you guys don't know, BSOF is intended to fund events that serve a large portion of the student body, and the events that we fund are meant to be open and welcoming to all students. So I know like all student orgs host events like for specifically like their demographic or the people that they represent, but they should be open and welcoming to all students, and sometimes those end of year celebrations can feel pretty exclusive. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, with that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A by First Race Blacker. Seeing none, this piece of legislation is only going to require one read. Initially, all final legislation is passed via roll call. I would entertain a motion for Chairman Monty.
Motion to approve this with unanimous consent? Unanimous consent.
Is there any dissent to this means of voting? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. Is there any dissent to the passage of this legislation? Seeing none, this legislation passes. Out of curiosity, who thinks they're the most senior member of the Senate?
Put it down, Jackson.
Most consecutively a senator. Anika, I think it might be you. You took a break.
2 years.
Yes.
Am I the longest consecutive?
Has anyone served longer than 2 years?
My break was last year, but
It was a break, and that is our bylaw, so it still would be the person with the most consecutive tenure within their role. We'll get to that in a second. I'll talk to you about that in a second. But with that, we'll now be moving into Resolution 5562, condemning CSU administration and action on student safety. Is anyone interested in being the parliamentarian? Senator Bakken.
My computer?
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 I spent a lot of, I spent a lot of time on this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't play about my secrets.
Clearly, it's
I
okay.
don't.
Oh, you're chairing? Okay, so, do just resolution title, abstract, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. After you're done, Q&A, pause, reset, and yeah, you should be good. You got this.
All right. So we are now looking at resolution 5562 condemning CSU administration inaction on student safety. The abstract. This resolution condemns CSU administration for failing to protect students and demands that there be action to preserve the safety of the students on campus.
Hello, everyone. Yes, me and my lovely good friend Diana wrote this. Basically, for too long didn't read, this is a really broad piece of legislation circling on the amount of bias incidents, acts of discrimination and harassment on bases of gender expression, race, ethnicity, yada, 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 all the things that someone holds an identity in. This is really general, and honestly for me, I've been here since my freshman year, and honestly I have not had the best run-ins or interactions with our administration and the offices associated with it, solely on the basis of they are quite reluctant to help us, meet with us, just on a wide range of things. And I know I speak for many people in this room that they've had the same experience within that be CRC meetings, individual meetings I've had. And I have been trying really hard since last year to really get that change and like reach out to them. And honestly, like I just have not had good luck. Like in my experience, like they'll go to the meeting and they'll really just like not give you answers on really anything. And then after it, like there will be no follow-up. Like at the meetings, they'll just say like, yeah, we do want to work with you guys, but like there's no, like I can't tell from your actions kind of thing. And I'm more of an actions over words kind of person. So this resolution is mainly just saying like, in this past year and through my last year I've been here, you have failed students, because it's like we've brought you into these conversations and in my personal experience, I know I can speak for multiple people in this room, the relationship that students have had with admin has declined rather than increased. And you know, I thought last year was the worst it could be, and we did the administration building sit-in. We were meeting with Mark Barker, Matt Tillman, and they gave me really great hopes for this year, just to be really let down. Like, yeah, I think I've said multiple times, like, about this relationship, but we haven't put in anything into paper. So yeah, I just wanted to get this resolution out there as an official thing. Like, you haven't been doing enough for your students, and like, that's a fact. And we've seen it in gallery input. I'm sure you all know people yourselves, but yeah, this is what this resolution is for.
Yeah, like Farron mentioned, this bill calls for more shared governance, more transparency with students, but it also addresses and calls for better transparency with current mechanisms for bias incident reporting, because the former system that we use has not been, and it was taken off the website. And I know we all heard it in gallery, but students do feel unheard, and all of our constituents deserve to feel like if something did happen to them on campus, that there would be a timely response, that something would actually be done about it, and that at the very, very least, they would know how to report it. So that's really what this bill is hoping to address. I don't wanna be too redundant, so yeah.
Also, we wrote this really fast, like guys, we have 2 weeks left, and it was a rush to write this. I have an immense amount of edits that I'll be making in DEI committee this Friday. So yeah, this is definitely not the final thing, so we are very open to adding, changing, deleting, sorry, I couldn't find the words, but yeah.
We're open to amending it, because we did have to write it in a weekend just to get it submitted, but yeah.
Excellent. With that, we'll now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A, starting with the first raised placard. Oh, Senator Mora.
Okay. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that this isn't a good bill. Like, I completely support this bill, and like I absolutely love. But I guess my question is just, what exactly is this gonna do? Like, I imagine we're gonna be sending it out and everything, but how exactly are we gonna hold the administration accountable? How are we, like, all we're gonna do is send this out, and is it just gonna be a repeat of like kind of bills that we've already sent out before, but just being like, okay, they're gonna read it, but what are we actually gonna do to make sure that they actually do something about what's going on around campus?
Yeah, it has been a pretty problematic pattern where we see resolutions that get written and passed through the Senate and don't really receive any follow through. This resolution is general because it's meant to document all of those other incidents. It names a couple incidents that have happened this past year that we didn't get follow through on, so it's and Farron, you can chime in, but like it's sort of like a paper trail thing. We want documentation that students' needs are not being served, basically. And I don't know if you want to talk about the tangible things we're gonna.
Yeah, furthermore, at least in my experience, and I have a bad memory, so if this is totally wrong, I'm so sorry, but we haven't really had any formal like legislation that's specifically talking about the failure to act on these things. I think like, yes, it was mentioned, been mentioned in a wide array of legislation, but it's never been the main point. So I think at least and this might differ from Diana's answer or her views, but at least my goal with this legislation is like, this is us kind of extending the hand, like, well, we've extended like thousands of hands, in my personal opinion, over the course of my time that I've been here. So to me, this is like the final hand, we're documenting it, and honestly, like, I might be getting too off track here, but please correct me if I am. However, this legislation, like, to me is like, we are pursuing the right channels, we are pursuing the right avenues, we're submitting that legislation, we're trying to bring admin and the various offices into question. So to me, like, if this isn't really followed up from admin and we made that effort, I think the responsibility lies on the students to rally behind this and say, like, we gave you all the option, here we are now doing whatever needs to be done, like, again, like pressuring the administration, like, we reached our hand out and now we are going to go for those unorthodox ways, like we did the administration building sit-in. And I know that's not something that everyone in ACSU is really familiar with or may not always support, but at the end of the day, like, what do you want us to do, kind of thing. Like, we've sat here and they've, like, for lack of a better word, I'm not actually gonna say that, but they have really like watched us suffer, it feels like, and it's like, if we've done the proper channels, what is left for us besides like rallying behind this and participating in instances that makes the university uncomfortable enough to the point that they have to acknowledge us, because it's like students are being hurt and it's like, you don't really care is what it seems like.
Additionally, with some of the edits that we're planning on making in therefore clauses, I think we wanna call for like some more like specific tangible actions, like, you know, demanding more accessibility of incident reporting or things like that. We're totally open to including more tangible actions in therefore clauses.
Okay, thank you so much, I yield.
Excellent. Daniel, Senator Daniel, sorry.
Okay, do you have a concrete or somewhat formulated outline for a plan of action in the event that this passes and the administration does nothing? Because I believe that's the likely course of what is going to happen, and I'm just curious if you guys have anything set up past it.
So, for the sake of multiple things, I can't fully share the exact information. However, just know, yes, I do. And I have been working with a wide range of individuals across this campus about it. But yes, we do have a large outline of multiple plans that we can follow up on if that does happen. Yes.
Who would be informed? Would you inform this body of the plans of action and ways we can participate in that? Or is that at your own discretion?
When the time comes, yes! Thank you.
I yield.
I'm sorry, that's all I can say.
I have the concepts of a plan. With that, is there anyone else that has a point of Q&A at this time? Oh, Associate Senator Penn.
Yeah, just really quick, yes to addressing the student body on this, or yes to it being at your discretion of like what your plans are? Sorry.
Yes to informing Senate of any
Okay,
future plans we may
sorry.
have and the student body.
Yes, okay, sorry. Okay, yo.
I will, when the event comes time to participate, you all will know. If you would like to be involved in the planning of those, also please let me know, because I can include you on that.
Senator Singleton?
Sounds great. Motion to previous question.
Second.
Hearing a second, is there any dissent? Okay, hearing no dissent, let this be sent to the Internal Affairs Committee, the University Affairs Committee, and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Affairs Committee. Excellent. With that.
Okay.
My turn for this one? My turn for this one? Okay.
What?
All right.
Like saying we have 7 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
Confidence business.
All right, with 7 minutes left in confidence business, I would entertain a motion to suspend Article 7, Section 4, subsection E.
C.
This is what I'm talking about. No, this is earlier. This is for gallery input. This is a separate part, because as we cannot extend the confidence clock, we need to suspend that section altogether. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jim. Oh, yes, sir.
I would like to motion to suspend bylaw 7? So, wait, no, not that, no.
I
Section
texted it to you, man.
Oh, you texted it? Wait, 1 second. Okay, I would like to.
Goodness gracious. And I also texted it to you.
Okay, I'm just gonna motion to suspend the bylaw that Gio sent me. Which is.
We have some precedent of just kind of vaguely describing which thing it is, as long as it's in alignment with the bylaws, which I think that we can confirm. So you can just say whatever Gio said, like everyone says about Brooklyn.
Section 7, Section 4, subsection T.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any dissent? Okay, hearing no dissent, the confidence clock has been all off. With that, we'll now move into Resolution 5563, ASCSU 55th Senate Bylaws. And do you have it? Where is this? I should have it pulled up here. You know the procedure? Yes. Make sure it's
All right, we'll now be looking at Resolution 5563. This bill aims to approve the 55th ASCSU Senate bylaws. Brooke, take it away.
I've been working on this legislation since before Hayden won Speaker. The bylaws have been bad, not bad, your addition was beautiful. Minus the things that I did more with, but yeah, bylaws, hundreds of hours have gone into these. They're not perfect. I fully have the intention of editing them more next year. They're in, that's exciting, that's fun. I'm happy to answer any questions on them.
excellent. With that, we'll now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A, starting with the first raised placard. Associate Senator Pendleton.
So, what did you change?
A lot. If you look at the track edits version, it's pretty red, kind of like any other document I've touched ever. essentially, it's a lot of language, it's a lot of organization, it's a lot of its visual impact. Additionally, it's moving some of the things around in the different job descriptions. Namely, I prioritize the senator, associate senator, speaker, and speaker pro tempore job descriptions with the intention of not being too perfectionist core and getting to the other ones later. But essentially, it's like a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, hundreds of hours, like legit, like that is a full sentence statement. You could text Claire Pickerel and ask. I would be working on it like 12 hours at a time, almost every day, like during summer. Hayden and I had like multiple meetings that were several like kind of hours long. A lot of work's gone into it. Two things I'm excited about, two new motions, dividing the question. Have you ever heard someone make a motion and it's really confusing, it's weird, you're like, damn, I wish I could split that up. We have something for it now. Additionally, something to refer legislation to different committees beyond what the chair assigns are two cool things I'm excited about.
I was gonna just, for context more, what is your, besides the motion, what is your favorite part of the bylaws?
My favorite part of the bylaws is
sorry, just to clarify, your addition to the bylaws.
Technically, it's not on this version, but I'm still gonna say onboarding, which is included in case anyone was concerned about any of the previous amendments to the bylaws not being included in this re-edition. There's specifically a therefore clause that outlines that anything passed to edit the bylaws over the course of this last academic year will take precedence over any of the contents in here.
Epic, I yield.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any other points of Q&A? Chairman Antti?
My point of Q&A is most of the previous question.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, let this be sent to the Internal Affairs Committee. Less fun sticking out.
Sarah, as you're the next person in the line of succession, if you could come and join us at the front.
Oh, Sarah's been here.
We're now moving into, by the way, Resolution 5564, endorsing Front Range Passenger Rail Development, which I am on, hence my inability to be here. Let's give it for Sarah, dude, come on. Pretty much good. I'm gonna read it off. Still have to establish the 10-minute thing after. Okay. Support.
Yeah, he's right.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Yeah, so we are moving into the resolution 5564, endorsing Front Range Passenger Rail Development. This legislation aims for ASCSU to sign a letter supporting the Front Range Passenger Rail Development projects.
Do you not do an accent?
Second. I'm sorry, it is 10 p.m. I was trying to have some fun. I like that. Should I read it again without the accent? Yes. All right, resolution 5564, endorsing Front Range Passenger Rail Development. This legislation aims for ASCSU to sign a letter supporting the Front Range Passenger Rail Development Project. We'll now move into a period of presenting. My bad.
Awesome. Essentially, homegirl Trisha came in a couple of weeks ago and gave us a really fun, Trisha Canonico, for anyone wondering, gave us a presentation on the unfortunately named Coco and not Fred Front Range, oh my god, it is like passenger rail development. Essentially, they also asked us to sign as ASCSU onto a letter stating our support. That's all this legislation does. I'm also looking to expedite this legislation so we don't have to deal with it next week. But with that, I'm happy to have any questions.
I personally am very glad of the outcome of the naming. Coco is perfect. Taking the Coco to Foco. But essentially, yeah, this is just... No, this essentially just supports our previous efforts. Public transportation is a wondrous effect, in my personal opinion. Yeah, essentially that.
One more thing, and additionally in the legislation outlines that we still are taking into concern any of the problems that were addressed during the original presentation of the project. So that's also documented, it's not just like a blind faith, like, yes, it's also documenting within our archives that like, we also had concerns about this, in case we wanna refer back to it.
All right, we'll now be moving into a period of discussion and debate. No, is that your?
No, you got it. Is it questions? No.
Yes.
Okay. We will now be moving into a period of Q&A by first responder. Enoch, go right ahead.
Hi, yes, do we have questions about the dissent? Motion, the previous question. Oh, dissent, never mind, I yield to the person who dissented.
You have to rescind your motion.
I will rescind my motion and then yield to the person who dissented.
Sorry, I just saw someone else's placard, so.
Leary has.
Yeah, I yield to Leary.
Oh, doing it for me.
Okay, what, in whereas two, what is the thing after ASCSU Senate, what is that symbol thingy? What is that meant to be?
A weird typo. We'll take it out.
Got it, and then, are we confident in this?
What does that mean in this context? And our ability to sign the letter? Kind of.
More of that, like, is this project completed enough for us to really support it?
I think it has a name. I think additionally it has years of backing behind it. There's support at like the legislature, there's a willingness, there's, I think it also addresses in the legislation that they were willing to talk to multiple student groups. Lauren told me that, so if you want more information on what specific other student groups, I can get back to you on that. But I think in terms of, this is an idea that could benefit students, that's what we have, and that's what we can sign on to.
Point of clarification, I
I'm
just
gonna
want
yield
to,
real quick.
point of clarification, Front Range Passenger Rail has been in development in Colorado since like the late 90s, early 2000s. This is one of the most ready projects of all time, actually.
Additionally, in all of my like nerdy ASCSU specific like super duper special interest, I haven't seen ASCSU sign on to support this before.
Seeing as nobody else is on the speakers list, last look around. Okay. Does someone, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I make a motion to expedite.
Do I hear a second? Okay, so, no, we don't have to do, okay. We will do this by placard if there's no other method of voting that we wanna, Jackson? Senator Singleton?
I motion to do this via voice vote.
Do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor of expediting? Aye, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, this legislation is expedited. Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And now moving into a half-hour period of discussion and debate with first responder, Enoch.
Anyone else on your list? Before I do anything?
It's not my list right now. No.
Oh, okay, then I like trains, the most previous question.
Yeah, so.
So now you're moving into voting.
Having heard a second, we will now be moving into a period of voting. Do I have a method? We will do it by placard unless there's another alternate method. Senator Manazzi?
Motion to do this via unanimous consent.
Is there any dissent? Seeing none, this legislation is passed with unanimous consent.
Okay, just a brief point of clarification, when a piece of legislation is in its final vote, the initial form of voting is roll call, not placard, just like, so that we're amending things in the right grand set. But with that, we'll now be moving into ending roll call. Chairman Opti.
beginning roll call being used as ending roll call, and then folks hop on is my motion.
Awesome, is there any dissent? Hearing none, we adjourn, thank you all.
This will probably be the last time I make that motion. Have fun with that. I also want to make a motion that I have Biscotti, or Biscoff, if anyone wants the rest of it. Just come over, get pieces, take.
This one, next to you.
Please be kind with the Biscoff, and it breaks easily. Please. You can tear it.
Why would I lie? That's how actions work. I fear.
And you know, I'm just being
It's just for you.
Hey.
I know it's late. You need to head out. Because I can talk to you about this later. You need to go.
Let me go home, eat, sleep, but we'll find a time. It'll be so good. It'll be fire.
Okay. Anytime like tomorrow, Friday work specifically?
My availability is pretty open Friday, minus there's like the May Day like event and stuff. So if you just want to send me your availability.
Shoot you a text? Okay. I'll shoot you a text. A lot of May Day stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for the picnic.
Like I said, that was a lot. I will have to read through all the bylaws probably over the summer. It's gonna be great. I already read the whole constitution. But I did that all when I was like starting to get into ASCC. But it's very interesting how it's very funny. Like it's a little bit of applause, but like there's so much work with like just the base administrative stuff, and like nobody cares. But it's important. So.
Yeah, it'll be so good. You're a Dutch senator.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we can sit here. It'll be so sick.
You're gonna be a senator next year? No, I didn't know that. That's actually really awesome.
I'm only a junior, so.
I didn't know that either. So. Well, I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm realize it's like I guess technically next week is also session, but it's the last week that I'm not gonna be senator. So I decided to just hold off on you, like put in early council.
It's more exciting kind of that way.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to get like nice. Anyway, it's very late. I have way too much work to do for my finals. So yeah, have a good week. Sociology. Yeah. Pretty large.
Double majoring in political science and neuroscience with minors in philosophy, communications.
Real, we got to stock a lot of things on there. I decided not to add when I graduate in like a year, so
I just love it.
I was like, I'm not gonna drag myself out too much. So
I did most of them on accident.
Yeah, I could really add a lot. Like if I wanted to do like a political science one and like some plus ones, it would be like probably send me like a semester because I want to do the physics minor. If I want to add other stuff, it's gonna like extend me. So I could like double in stuff, but I don't really see much of a point to it. So. It's fine though. So the accident ones is chill. So anyway, yeah. So have a great week, and the work you do is not completely unseen. So
Appreciate it.
All right.
It's like
Dude, I'm so good at seeing
Big Larry came just to put him down. SpongeBob turned into a clown. Cause you a girl wants to dance to
As one clarification, it can be mentioned on the agenda that Jane does that at any point in time. There's no rule against it.
During the confidence plug.
We used to do a thing.
The end, yeah. I'm aware.
Yeah, CSU fight song. I'm gonna make a motion to put
I've never sang it. I've never heard it. I don't know it.
I don't know.
So it's
Who knows that shit? Are you gonna play it on the TV?
Yeah.
The trick is to never be a real freshman or senior ever. Then you don't have to do that. You just do it. And that's the.
Oh yeah. My partner is amateur. Well, I know what it is. Yeah, my partner. I mean. Yeah. Stop. I do not engage in illicit activities at all. That's I'm a good Christian. I would never.
No, you actually got me like right on like an open
and dogmatic.
No.
Jack, I 100% believe you don't do illicit activities.
Thank you, thank you.
And it was right on like an open. Inherently, implicitly, immediately believe that.
Nice.
Your hair. Yeah, thank you very much.
I do 6 sets of 7.
When I was trying to make that motion, when I was trying to make that motion, this is what came up on my phone. And then I tried to make the motion, and then I was just like, undo that.
And then there was the
one.
There was the one I said.
Wait, which one?
Nice. Okay, should I say? No, it's like the Epstein. Joe. One second. Yeah. No, it isn't. I'm so glad you did that.
Yeah, it's just buddies. Me and the first.
Yes. I'm in the boys club. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually met you face to face.
I'm Hayden.
I'm Jack. Nice to meet you.
I don't think I've ever.
You're very important. So I've heard.
I don't think we've ever met.
Am I?
Yeah.
Hey.
I want to shake your hand. I want to shake his hand.
You know how to hate forms.
That's wild. That's so fun.
But like why
What was
tonight?
He did that to me in elementary school.
Instead of just.
Yeah,
like yeah. This is what's up. Probably, but
Oh, God.
check those anymore. It's all apps.
Nice.
It's all apps.
I wouldn't.
Bro, how do they drink that? She said.
It's too much.
I'm only on Discord because the trip off
About the lake, because I didn't know where to go.
You almost He carbonates in before.